I was reborn on the day I was supposed to donate a kidney to the wealthy man. My younger sister yanked me off the operating table, shouting, "Sis can't donate, I'll do it instead." Then I realized, my sister had been reborn too. In my past life, I married the wealthy man who survived thanks to my kidney, becoming a pampered socialite. My jealous sister, bitter about her miserable life, pushed me off a skyscraper. This time, as my sister lay triumphantly on the operating table, she sneered, "Sis. Now it's my turn to marry Zhou Ting and become the young mistress of the wealthy family." I smirked coldly. She never knew my greatest regret last lifetime was marrying Zhou Ting, that psychologically twisted monster. 1. Don't move. Didn't you agree to trade a kidney for $1,000,000? Too late for regrets now. I woke up lying on an operating table. The private doctor's icy voice came from above me. I suddenly realized I'd been reborn, back to the day my family forced me to donate a kidney. The anesthesia had taken effect, leaving me too weak to resist. The cold scalpel slowly glided across my skin. Just as I lost all hope, my younger sister burst into the room. She dragged me off the operating table and took my place. "If my sister can't donate, I will." I froze. This plot twist wasn't in my last life script. 2. My little sister's dream is to marry into money. In our past lives, she schemed to study abroad with her trust fund boyfriend. Terrified some foreign floozy would steal him away, she conspired with her doting parents to stage an elaborate charade, coercing me into donating a kidney to Zhou Ting in exchange for $1,000,000. Later, I married Zhou Ting and became a wealthy socialite, but that silver spoon heir never married my sister. He kept her as his mistress instead. At champagne-filled galas, as the lady of the house, I basked in the spotlight like the moon surrounded by stars. My sister was being beaten up by the rich heir's wife. "Who do you think you are? Some kind of socialite? How dare you show your face at this kind of party? Get lost. If I ever see you in a place like this again, I'll beat you every single time." Through the crowd, my sister glared at me with burning envy. After the banquet, my disheveled sister confronted me. Bitter resentment dripped from her voice. "Jiao Shui. I'm prettier and sweeter-tongued than you, clearly more suited to be a wealthy matriarch. Just bad luck." I thought Zhou Ting, that doomed wretch, wouldn't last long, so I passed him over. Her eyes flicked to my flat stomach. "I'm more fertile too, if not 4. As if recalling something unpleasant, she hissed through gritted teeth, "In short, you barren hen aren't fit to be the Zhou family's young mistress." Blinded by resentment, she pushed me off the high-rise building. Instinctively, I grabbed her dress, dragging her down with me in death. 3. My parents rushed into the operating room shortly after. They coaxed, "Jiao Jiao, don't be willful. Donating a kidney would harm your health. Let your sister do it instead." I curled my lips bitterly. These were my parents, though we're both their daughters. They couldn't bear to see Jiao Jiao suffer the slightest harm, yet wouldn't spare a thought for my life, to fund her study abroad. My mother even lied about me being ill, pressuring me to sell my kidney for her treatment. Jiao refused to back down. "It's fine, I've done my research. People have 2 kidneys, losing one won't affect your health much. You just can't do heavy labor. Your daughter was born to live comfortably anyway, she won't need to lift a finger." But, Jiao cut them off impatiently. "No buts, Mom and Dad, the Zhous are a powerful family. If they take my kidney, they'll owe me. Whenever our family needs help in the future, all I have to do is ask. They'll have to return the favor." She shot me a glance. "Jiao Shui has no conscience like I do. Mom, don't you remember, when you said you were seriously ill and needed money for chemo?" She still made excuses instead of donating a kidney for that $1,000,000. "If she ever makes it big someday, you really think she'll remember you?" I sneered. Did they really not understand why I kept making excuses? Since childhood, my parents always favored Jiao while treating me with nothing but scolding and beatings. In my view, since Jiao reaped all the maternal love, if our mother truly needed money from selling a kidney, it shouldn't have fallen on me to donate. Clearly, they thought differently. They brought in journalists to expose me, hung banners at my school, and branded me an ungrateful wretch who cared nothing for my mother's life. The public shaming left me no choice but to give up that kidney. Mom and Dad always listened to my sister. "Jiao, are you absolutely sure about this?" Jiao nodded, and just like that, Jiao got her wish. Lying on the operating table, before I left, she smirked triumphantly and said loud enough for me to hear, "Sister, this time it's my turn to marry Zhou Ting and become the young mistress of a wealthy family." The moment I heard those words, everything became crystal clear. It wasn't just me who got a second chance. Zhao Jiao did too. Little did Zhao know. Being the young mistress of the Zhou family came with its own nightmares. Zhou Ting only married me to use me as a walking organ bank. Years of illness had taken a toll on his mental health as well. To outsiders, he appeared as a gentle and refined gentleman, but in truth, he was a sadist who envied my healthy body and tormented me in every way possible. I smiled as the operating room door slowly closed. Now it's your turn, dear sister. I returned to school and devoted all my energy to studying, making up for the regret from my past life where kidney donation and subsequent wound infection disrupted my senior year preparation, causing me to miss out on a top university. My school life became busy yet fulfilling. Things weren't going so smoothly for Zhao. She followed the same painful path I once walked, tormented by wound infections, suffering unbearable pain with recurring high fevers. My parents were so frantic they took extended leave from work just to care for her. When I had the same infected wound in my past life, I never received such royal treatment. After pocketing the million from the Zhous, my parents abandoned me at the hospital without a second thought, even when doctors warned them about my critical condition. They never visited, just cursed me for being a burden and left me to rot in that hospital bed. In the end, it was Zhou Ting's parents who hired a caregiver for me, probably only because I still had some use to them. Sometimes I seriously wonder if I'm even their biological child. During Zhao's hospitalization, my parents had me deliver some clean clothes to them, which was the only time I saw them. My parents had lost significant weight, with dark circles under their eyes. Clearly, being caregivers had taken its toll. Zhao looked utterly drained, a far cry from her usual vibrant self. That's what losing a kidney does. They say it won't affect your health, but you'll feel significantly weaker. In my past life, I'd be panting after just 5 flights of stairs, and even lifting light objects felt exhausting. Now I can run 3 laps around the track without breaking a sweat. Zhao Shui, you must be thrilled to see me suffering, aren't you? Zhao said with relish. Life's bitterness always precedes its sweetness. Let me tell you, during my hospital stay, I confessed to Zhou Ting, and he accepted. My golden days are yet to come. I froze, never expecting them to get entangled so quickly. Zhao added, you must be drowning in regret now. Too late, good riddance. Those 2 troublemakers deserve each other. At least they'll stay out of my hair now. A month before the college entrance exams, Zhao returned to school arm in arm with Zhou Ting. Their intimacy on full display. Zhou Ting even transferred to our class just for her. When Zhao spotted me, she clung tighter to Zhou Ting's arm as if I might snatch him away. Her voice dripped with apprehension and disgust. What awful luck? Zhou Ting asked her. Jiao, what's wrong? Zhao shot me a glance, the corners of her lips curling slightly. Immediately, I had a bad feeling about this. 5. Zhao tattled to Zhou Ting. Zhou Ting, you don't know this. But originally it was supposed to be your sister who donated her kidney to you. She chickened out on the operating table at the last minute. I stepped up without hesitation and gave you my kidney instead. If it weren't for me, you'd still be lying in that hospital bed right now. Zhou Ting had been sickly since childhood, with several near-death experiences where doctors barely managed to pull him back from the brink. His hatred for those who jeopardized his health ran bone deep. He violently kicked over my desk, snarling with malice. These days, any worthless trash thinks they can waltz into our school. When the Zhou family's sole heir flew into a rage, not a single soul dared speak up in my defense. After all, his family donated several academic buildings to the school. Even the principal speaks to him with deference. One bespectacled guy in class was practically stirring the pot, if I recall correctly. Zhao Shui's mother is critically ill and desperately needs that million from her kidney sale. Now that she's run off, her mom's lifeline is gone. What an ungrateful wretch. Shouldn't trash like her be kicked out of our class? The moment he finished speaking, the other students' gazes toward me grew noticeably more contemptuous. The bespectacled guy shot me a glance, his eyes brimming with malice. He might not have been the worst person I encountered in my past life. But Chen Wang was hands down the most repulsive classmate. Being short and scrawny, he'd been bullied multiple times by the class troublemakers. Once when I helped him out, he mistook it for romantic interest and publicly confessed to me. I politely turned him down. From that moment on, he held a grudge against me. Back when I refused to sell my kidney for money, my mother faked an illness and caused a scene at my school. Chen Wang took photos of the incident, posted them on the school forum and other social media platforms. spreading malicious rumors to smear my reputation. The online harassment and constant pointing fingers at school eventually forced me to donate the kidney. Later, when I married Zhou Ting and started what he considered a good life, he still wouldn't let me go. Chen Wang somehow got hold of Zhou Ting's phone number and sent him AI-generated fake photos, accusing me of being unfaithful. What greeted me was yet another brutal beating from Zhou Ting. After that incident, I had someone investigate and found out Chen Wang was the one who framed me. Everyone around him says he's a decent, down-to-earth guy, not exceptional, but reliable and kind-hearted. He has a steady, ordinary job and a fiancée he's planning to marry. In truth, he was like a sewer rat, secretly taking upskirt photos of women in various settings and spreading malicious rumors about accomplished females through anonymous accounts, driving some victims into depression. I compiled all his disgusting actions and perverted remarks into a dossier and sent it to everyone in his social circle. Later I heard he lost his job, his engagement fell through, even got embroiled in lawsuits, becoming literal vermin that everyone wanted to stomp on. Now there's Chen Wang, still young but equally repulsive. He's been covertly taking upskirt photos of female classmates with his phone, including Zhao Jiajiao. I've been so busy with studies lately that I completely forgot about this matter. Now that he's acting up again, all those disgusting things he did came flooding back to my mind. While Chen Wang was fanning the flames and trying to get Zhou Ting to teach me a lesson, I'd already quietly made my way to his desk and taken his phone. Chen Wang's face darkened. "Zhao Shui, don't you dare touch my phone." It was already too late. "How come your album is full of upskirt photos of girls, and you even have my sister's pictures?" I gasped. "Chen Wang, my sister is Zhou Ting's girlfriend. How dare you set your sights on her?" Chen Wang's face instantly turned ashen. The classmates stared at him in shock. Holy shit, Chen Wang always seemed so decent. How could he do something like this? How disgusting. Chen Wang should be the one kicked out of our class. This needs to be exposed. Let everyone see his revolting true colors. Chen Wang broke into a cold sweat and sobbed in terror. "Please don't do this. If it gets out, everyone will crucify me. My life will be over." See, even Chen Wang understands how terrifying public opinion can be. He never understood the pain until the rod struck his own back. The bullet he once fired at me eventually found its way back to his own skull, just as I predicted. Zhou Ting greeted him with fists falling like hailstones. Zhou Ting was inherently arrogant, looking down on everyone with an insatiable need for control. He never treated Zhao Jiajiao as an equal. She was just his property, and nothing infuriated him more than others coveting what was his. Chen Wang secretly took intimate photos of Zhao Jiajiao. No wonder Zhou Ting beat him up. Chen Wang didn't dare fight back, just took the beating while begging for mercy. Watching this unfold, Zhao Jiajiao smiled sweetly and said to me, "See that, Zhou Ting's fighting for me. Men look so hot when they throw punches. Handsome. This is clearly emotional instability. If Zhou Ting could hit Chen Wang on a whim today, he could just as easily turn on her tomorrow." The fight only ended when Zhou Ting was too exhausted to continue. Zhao Jiajiao quickly handed Zhou Ting a towel. "You must be tired. Here, wipe your sweat." Zhou Ting wiped the sweat off, his sinister gaze settling on me. "Now, it's your turn." I hadn't expected Zhou Ting to hold such a grudge, still remembering Zhao Jiajiao's recent slander against me. Facing his violent stare, I remained surprisingly calm inside. After all, the tactic of redirecting trouble to others is something I've used before, and can use again. I shot a glance at the smug Zhao Jiajiao and calmly stated, "Let me clarify something. My mother is perfectly healthy. She's not ill at all. They faked her illness to pressure me into selling my kidney. That $1,000,000 was meant to fund Zhao Jiajiao's study abroad, so she could join her trust fund boyfriend overseas." Zhou Ting indeed lost the energy to target me. His expression darkened as he turned to Zhao Jiajiao. "Jiajiao, care to explain?" 6. Panic flashed across Zhao Jiajiao's face. Her wealthy boyfriend attended an elite private school, and apart from me, no one knew about their relationship. After getting together with Zhou Ting, Zhao Jiajiao broke up with her wealthy boyfriend, but the guy couldn't handle being dumped. His pride was wounded, and he kept harassing her. She knew perfectly well that while Zhou Ting was easygoing, he'd never tolerate her toying with his feelings. Digging her nails into her palm, Zhao Jiajiao quickly regained composure. "Zhou Ting, I don't have a boyfriend. I donated my kidney because I like you. Don't listen to her nonsense." She paused before continuing. "As for my mother, she wasn't actually sick. The hospital misdiagnosed her." "Really?" Zhao Jiajiao nodded eagerly. Zhou Ting gently stroked her cheek, his voice icy. You're not lying to me, Zhao Jiao Jiao declared firmly. I would never lie to you. My sister just can't stand seeing us together, so she made up these lies to drive a wedge between us, fearing I might say something else to her disadvantage. She hastily interjected, but Zhou Ting, please spare her, after all, she's my sister. You're just too kind-hearted for your own good, Zhao Jiao said with a laugh. Isn't that exactly what you love about me, my kindness? Zhou Ting gave her a meaningful look, the corner of his mouth quirking up. You're absolutely right, he said. Let's consider this matter closed. After tidying up the desk, I went to the restroom, and Zhao Jiao followed me. She gloated. See, Zhou Ting dotes on me now and does whatever I say. Just wait and see. With the right choices, my life won't be worse than yours, I replied indifferently. Whatever makes you happy. In my past life, when I first met Zhou Ting, he treated me exceptionally well, attending to my every need with meticulous care, so when he proposed, I accepted without a second thought. After marriage, his violent nature surfaced. He'd lay hands on me at the slightest disagreement. Eventually, I realized his kindness was just a ruse to marry me and turn me into his personal organ bank. Multiple organs in his body show signs of deterioration, and coincidentally, I'm a perfect match for all of them. Zhou Ting is like a piece of candy, beautifully wrapped on the outside, but filled with viscous poison within. Zhao Jiao mistakenly thought I still had lingering feelings for Zhou Ting. Zhao Shui, it's too late for regrets now. Zhou Ting is mine, and I won't let you take him away. Don't worry, all I care about now is focusing on my studies. As long as you don't provoke me, I won't say anything inappropriate in front of him. Zhao Jiao sneered. You'd better keep your word. After that confrontation, Zhao Jiao didn't dare to bother me again, but the way she looked at me was full of wariness, terrified I might steal her precious Zhou Ting. I found it amusing. No one but Zhao Jiao would treat trash like Zhou Ting as treasure. Zhou Ting didn't give me any trouble either. He'd just recovered and doctors had ordered him to rest. After that fight with Chen Wang, he started coughing up blood and was readmitted to the hospital. The Zhou family took their anger out on Chen Wang, exposing his dirty secrets and pressuring the school until he was forced to drop out. All in all, my school life remained relatively peaceful, but 2 days before the college entrance exams, everything changed. 7. Just 2 days before the college entrance exams, our school gave us seniors time off to study at home. After Zhao Jiao hooked up with Zhou Ting, she never cracked open a book again. She said Zhou Ting had promised to take her abroad for studies. Why bother hitting the books when she could just focus on him, who needs some mythical book-smart beauty? Marrying Zhou Ting meant she'd have it all. So after coming home for the holidays, instead of studying, she spent all her time dating Zhou Ting, who had just been discharged from the hospital. One day, she came home with a slap mark on her face. My parents were heartbroken when they saw it and immediately asked what happened. Zhao Jiao pointed the finger at me. It's all Zhao Shui's fault. She told Zhou Ting about my ex-boyfriend. When Zhou Ting dug up details about my past with that guy, he got angry and taught me a lesson. My father raised his hand to hit me, but my mother stopped him. Don't you dare lay a finger on Zhao Shui. She bit back her words and shot my father a meaningful look, as if remembering something. My father immediately lowered his hand. Though I'd dodged a bullet, my heart sank like a stone. This is completely out of character. Knowing my mother, she'd never stop my father from hitting me. She'd actually pour fuel on the fire. She'd often say, I should have drowned you in the toilet right after you were born. Spare us all the misery of raising a cursed burden like you. But this time, they just shot me a vicious glare before turning their attention to Zhao Jiao, whose cheeks were flushed pink. Jiao, does it hurt? Let mom and dad take you to the hospital. I'm fine now, they pleaded. Jiao, break up with Zhou Ting. He's not right for you. No. Despite being beaten by Zhou Ting, Zhao Jiao defended him. Mom, Dad, Zhou Ting's usually so good to me. He's never laid a hand on me before, but he did hit you. Zhou Ting only hits me because he cares. Besides, he knows his limits. It didn't even hurt that much. Zhao Jiao flashed a blissful smile, looking every bit the love-struck fool who believed affection could numb all pain. My father sighed. Never mind, your happiness is what matters most. Jiao, you must be hungry. Let me cook you something nice. My mom stood up too. I'll get you some ointment. Just apply it for half a day and the swelling will go down. Our precious Jiao will be her pretty little self again in no time. My parents were bending over backwards to cheer her up. With no attention left for me, I retreated to my room, narrowly avoiding trouble. yet feeling uneasy inside. The half-reviewed textbook lay on my desk, but I couldn't focus on a single word. The image of my mother stopping my father from hitting me keeps replaying in my mind, along with her pleading, "Honey, you can't hit Zhao Shui." Why shouldn't they hit me? They've never liked me anyway, always being rough with me without holding back. This time would be no different. Could it be because I'm about to take the college entrance exams, and they don't want to affect my performance? Impossible. If they truly wanted me to get into university, they wouldn't have made me donate a kidney to Zhou Ting during the most critical year of high school. Feeling restless, my gaze drifted to the window where a girl was selling gardenias. Big brother, why not buy a string for your girlfriend? They smell wonderful, wilted and pathetic. I wouldn't take them even if they were free. Some strange impulse made me think of myself. Are my parents not hitting me because they're planning to sell me off? A bruised face would lower my market value to decent families. The more I think about it, the more it makes sense. If they'd force me to sell a kidney for the Zhou family's million without caring about my health, selling me outright would be child's play to them. As for the motive, 9 times out of 10 it was about Zhao Jiao. Zhao Jiao was terrified I'd change my mind and seduce Zhou Ting. If I got married, I'd no longer be a threat to her. The thought made me too anxious to stay home a moment longer. Grabbing my ID, exam admission ticket, and the little savings I'd scraped together over the years, I headed for the door. Outside the room, my dad was cooking while my mom and Zhao watched TV. The picture-perfect family scene making me feel like an outsider. Maybe it's for the best. No one would pay me any attention anyway. Just as I reached the door, my mom suddenly called out, "Zhao Shui, where do you think you're going?" Holding up the trash bag, I replied without batting an eye, "Taking out the garbage." She walked over and took the trash bag from my hands. "Your college entrance exams are in 2 days. Go focus on your studies. I'll take care of this trash after dinner when I take out the kitchen waste." With that, my mother quietly locked the door behind her. Her refusal to let me out only confirmed my suspicions. Not wanting to arouse suspicion, I dropped the matter, obediently put down the trash bag, and retreated to my room. When the night grew still and everyone had fallen asleep, I quietly opened my tightly shut bedroom door. The living room was pitch black, save for the faint moonlight streaming through the window. I let out a soft sigh and tiptoed to the entrance, my hand just reaching the doorknob. A blinding light suddenly flashed from behind me. Zhao's spoiled voice rang out from nearby. "Zhao Shui, where are you going in the middle of the night?" 8. Just my luck. Of all times, Zhao had to go to the bathroom right when I was trying to sneak out. I kept my tone calm. "Can't sleep, just going for a walk." "Oh, really?" Zhao walked over without batting an eye. Having grown up together, I knew her well enough. Her tone made it clear she didn't buy my story for a second. Without hesitation, I turned the doorknob and bolted for the exit, only to find the door had been deadbolt from inside with a key. Anticipating this, I swiftly pulled my keys from my pocket. The moment I inserted the key, Zhao rushed over, grabbing my arm to stop me from turning it. She sneered triumphantly. "Zhao Shui, did you really think I'm that stupid? One look at you and I knew you'd try to run." Her voice turned vicious as she spat. "Listen carefully. As long as I'm alive, you'll never get near Zhou Ting. You're marrying that old bachelor, period. His dowry money will fund my overseas studies." Rage surged through me. I grabbed Zhao by the hair and smashed her head against the wall. Thud, thud, missing a kidney and still recovering. Zhao stood no chance against me. Within moments, I'd pummeled her into dazed submission. She couldn't lift a finger to stop me. All the while, she kept screaming at the top of her lungs. One moment she'd shriek, "Zhao Shui, how dare you? I'll make mom and dad beat you black and blue." The next she'd wail, "Mom, dad, come quick. Zhao Shui's trying to kill me. She's going to run away." The commotion was so deafening there was no way our parents could sleep through it. Just as my parents came rushing out of the noise, I turned the key again. My heart was in my throat, and my hands trembled slightly. The lock was a bit stiff. Sometimes it took several tries to turn it open. I prayed silently that the lock would open smoothly this time. It was as if God had heard my prayers. The lock gave way after just 2 attempts. The moment I swung the door open, my parents were mere steps away. I bolted for the exit, but Zhao Shui, half conscious, suddenly grabbed my ankle. "You're not leaving," she slurred. "I'll make sure mom and dad skin you alive today." Without hesitation, I drove my foot straight into Zhao's face, twice, with brutal force. Zhao cared about nothing more than her face. True enough, She immediately released her grip to shield her face. She screamed through the pain, "It hurts, my nose might be broken, you bitch, I'll make sure you die horribly." Seizing the opportunity, I bolted for the exit. Just then, my parents had already rushed up to me. One of them focused on the injured Jiao Jiao Jiao, while the other reached out to grab me as I stepped out the door. My father had already seized my shirt collar, yanking me back while shouting, "You little bastard, get your ass back here now." The house was brightly lit, radiating warmth, yet outside, it was dark and bitterly cold, but I knew, stepping back into this house would seal my doom beyond redemption. This was Jiao Jiao Jiao's home, never mine. The more chaotic things became, the calmer I grew. I stopped running. I knew my strength was no match for a grown man. I grabbed the doorknob and flung it outward with all my might. The next second, my father's agonized scream pierced the air. The door had crushed his hand with a sickening force. The pain made him release his grip on me. I might have imagined it, but I swear I heard the sickening crack of bone. When my father finally let go, I knew this was my chance to run. I didn't run, I watched his exposed forearm. Too slow to pull back, gripping the doorknob as he slammed the door again and again. My father's agonized wails and pleas for mercy filled the air, yet I felt an exhilarating rush of satisfaction. "Do you feel it now, Dad? I felt this same pain every time you hit me. When I begged for mercy, you'd just hit me harder, just like this." After countless struggles, I finally escaped that icy household, their curses ringing in my ears. I severed all ties with that family. On this drizzly spring night with a biting wind, I fled toward freedom. When my exhilaration subsided, the most pressing reality confronted me. Where could I find shelter to safely complete my college entrance exams? I knew my parents wouldn't let me go easily. They'd stop at nothing to sabotage me, drag me back, and force me to marry that old bachelor Jiao 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 kept mentioning. I'll definitely show up at the exam hall, and they probably know that. 9. I considered calling the police, but it's a family matter. My parents put on this perfect parent act in public. It's downright deceptive. The cops might not even take my side sometimes. I thought of my homeroom teacher, Ms. Chu. She was such a wonderful teacher. That time when she heard Zhou Ting had given me trouble in class, she even called me to her office specifically. She told me I must come to her if anyone ever bullied me. She would never tolerate Zhou Ting's bullying behavior on campus just because he came from a privileged family. I also heard she sponsored a girl from an impoverished mountain village, saving her from child marriage. She always encouraged girls to study hard and take control of their own destinies. With these thoughts in mind, I went to find Teacher Chu. Just as I expected, when Teacher Chu heard about my situation, she didn't hesitate for a second before deciding to take me in. "Don't worry. I'll make sure you're safe." With Teacher Chu's reassurance, the weight slowly lifted from my anxious heart. Noticing my rain-soaked hair, Teacher Chu handed me clean clothes and a towel. "These are from my college days. They should fit you. Go shower now before you catch a cold. Don't forget you've got college entrance exams the day after tomorrow." My nose tingled with emotion. "Thank you, Professor Chu." Professor Chu gently patted my hair and said tenderly, "If you really want to thank me, ace your exams and make something of yourself. Prove all those doubters wrong." "Alright." Worried I might catch a cold, Professor Chu brewed me ginger tea shortly after I finished showering. I sat wrapped in a blanket, sipping the ginger tea. My heart felt warm, and so did my stomach. Just then, my parents called her asking if she'd seen me, and Teacher Chu said no. My parents said, "Teacher, you don't understand. This child got involved with shady people online, stole money from home, and ran away. When we tried to stop her, she even hurt us. If you hear anything about her, you must let us know." Teacher Chu glanced at me and simply said, "Okay." After hanging up, Teacher Chu rubbed his temples and sighed. "What kind of people are your parents? I've never seen such blatant favoritism in my life." "Because I look like grandma." "What is it?" I spoke slowly. "When my grandmother was young, she suffered domestic violence from my grandfather. To protect herself, she fled to another city, without taking my father. That's why he resented her. Later, she remarried a wealthy man, had 2 more children, and secured their futures early. But when my father got married, she only gave a red envelope." My mother thought grandma played favorites and grew to dislike her too. Keeping my eyes downcast, I added, "Eventually, they started seeing me as a reminder of grandma, and nothing I did could please them. In my past life, it took me forever to uncover why they always favored Jiao Jiao Jiao. Absurd as it sounds, that's the truth." Teacher Chu sighed after hearing this. "It's not your fault. They simply didn't deserve to be your parents. She patted my shoulder again. It's all behind you now. I thought I'd have trouble sleeping in an unfamiliar place. Surprisingly, I slept like a baby. This place just felt so comforting. When I woke up, Teacher Chu had already prepared breakfast. You're awake. Come have breakfast after washing up. Hope it suits your taste. Her smile was so tender towards me. This was such a rare experience for me. I'd been in charge of making breakfast for the family since I was little. I had to wake up an hour earlier than everyone else to prepare their favorite breakfast. My parents prefer Chinese breakfast, while Zhao Jiao Jiao likes Western-style mornings. As for what I like to eat, I don't even know myself, and they don't seem to care. After breakfast, I rushed to wash the dishes before Teacher Chu could. You're such a thoughtful child, Teacher Chu said. I prepared some senior year review materials in the study. Stay home and study today. I'll take you to the college entrance exam tomorrow. I thanked her. The day passed quietly and leisurely. Then at dusk, urgent knocking shattered the tranquility. A bad feeling instantly washed over me. As I opened the study door, Professor Chu happened to step out of his room at the same moment. We approached the door and saw through the video doorbell my father with his arm in a sling, and Zhao Jiao Jiao with bandages covering her forehead and nose. To our surprise, Zhou Ting stood beside her, flanked by several burly men who looked ready for trouble. Come to think of it, Zhou Ting's arrival makes perfect sense. He sees Zhao Jiao Jiao as his personal property. He'd never allow anyone but himself to lay a finger on her. Beside them stood a middle-aged man in his 40s or 50s. With dark skin, thinning hair, and yellowed teeth visible whenever he spoke, his eyes gleamed with an unfriendly, ruthless sharpness. I figured this must be the old bachelor Zhao Jiao Jiao had mentioned. Just thinking about it makes me sick to my stomach. I'm so relieved I caught on to their plan to sell me last night and managed to escape. Otherwise, I'd be facing a living hell with no way out. As for my mother, she was standing there with hands on hips, screaming her head off. Zhao Shui, I know you're in there. Get your ass out here right now. Did you really think hiding at your homeroom teacher's place would keep us from finding you? The Zhou family has connections everywhere. Tracking you down is just one phone call away. You heard our Jiao Jiao, and neither we nor Zhou Ting will let this slide. She kept screaming. Teacher Chu, I actually thought you were decent. Turns out you're just another piece of trash. You almost fooled me. Open this damn door now. You have no idea what you're bringing upon yourself by crossing the Zhou family. I knew Teacher Chu wouldn't hand me over, but I was afraid I'd end up dragging her into this mess. As if sensing my thoughts, Teacher Chu took my hand. It's alright, I'm an adult, I can handle this. Her hand was small yet warm and firm. My anxious heart gradually settled. When my parents saw Teacher Chu wasn't answering, they huddled with Zhou Ting briefly before sending some burly men to break down the teacher's door. When persuasion failed, they resorted to force. No door could withstand that kind of battering. It was only a matter of time before they forced their way in. 10. Anticipating this, Teacher Chu decided to call for backup. She didn't call the police. After all, this was a family matter. She feared the police might let my parents take me away under their relentless pressure. Instead, she called her friends for backup. Soon enough, a tall woman with burgundy curls arrived, accompanied by a dozen burly men armed with steel pipes. The woman rapped the metal pipe against the wall with a sharp clang, instantly drawing everyone's attention. So you're the ones giving Chu trouble. The curly-haired woman shot my parents a glance. Her tone icy and detached, her commanding presence was overwhelming. Under her hostile gaze, my parents' previously upright postures involuntarily slumped. Zhou Ting kicked over the trash bag Teacher Chu's neighbor had left by the door. This is family business, none of your damn concern. The curly-haired woman arched an eyebrow and strode toward Zhou Ting. Her leather boots struck the floor with menacing thuds. Zhou Ting's men rushed forward to block her path. The curly-haired woman didn't even bat an eye. With a snap of her fingers, her subordinates subdued them all without touching a single strand of her hair. My parents and Zhao Jiao Jiao watched the scene unfold, their earlier arrogance completely gone. They trembled like frightened quails, not daring to make a sound, terrified they'd be next. The curly-haired woman grabbed Zhou Ting by the collar and lifted him effortlessly. Like plucking a chick from its nest, Zhou Ting certainly put up a fight. But frail and just out of the hospital, he was no match for the curly-haired woman. The collar choked Zhou Ting until his face turned crimson. You little brat, you scared my friend. The curly-haired woman gave Zhou Ting's cheek a firm pat. I don't care about family drama. When it comes to my friends, their business is my business. Whoever they protect, I protect. Her warning gaze swept across my parents before settling on Zhou Ting. In our line of work, there's only one rule, an eye for an eye. Go ahead, try messing with that kid again, but remember, walk down enough dark alleys, and you're bound to take a nasty fall. Broken arms and legs happen all the time. Think carefully before doing anything stupid. The sheer intensity of the curly-haired woman's presence silenced everyone. My parents ducked their heads even lower, terrified of catching the curly-haired woman's attention. What a loser. The curly-haired woman snorted in derision and released her grip. Zhou Ting collapsed onto the floor and remained there for a long moment, unable to get up. Zhao Jiaojiao reached out to steady him, but Zhou Ting shoved her away violently. Get lost. It was all because of her that Zhou Ting had been reduced to such a pitiful state, and he'd grown to despise her for it. Instead of getting angry, Zhao Jiaojiao murmured a quiet apology, her usual arrogance nowhere to be seen. Zhou Ting probably knew he could treat Zhao Jiaojiao however he wanted without consequence. That's why he'd laid hands on her yesterday. I have a feeling Zhao Jiaojiao won't even make it to marriage with Zhou Ting. She'll suffer his abuse during their study abroad days. In under 2 minutes, my parents left with the whole entourage in tow. Before storming off, Zhou Ting shot the curly-haired woman a murderous glare and spat, "This isn't over." The curly-haired woman smirked and flipped him the bird. Zhou Ting probably wanted to curse, but the thought of the curly-haired woman's combat skills and the burly men around her stopped him. In the end, he left without a word, grinding his teeth in frustration. Once they were gone, the curly-haired woman dismissed the hired muscle and entered Teacher Chu's house alone. 11. Teacher Chu introduced her to me. "This is Shen Sang, my friend, Miss Shen." That name sounds vaguely familiar. I tried hard to recall, but it just wouldn't come to me. Miss Shen's cold demeanor melted away when she saw me. With a warm smile, she said, "Hey kiddo, was I too harsh earlier? Don't be scared, I'm just in the logistics business. Those guys are my employees, not gangsters," I said with genuine admiration. "You weren't harsh at all, you're actually really cool. I want to be someone like you when I grow up." Shen Sang's smile deepened. "Such a sweet talker. I didn't save you for nothing." She asked Teacher Chu, "Hey Chu, what's going on with these people outside?" Teacher Chu briefly explained the whole situation to Shen Sang. Shen Sang regretted, "Had I known, I wouldn't have let them off so easily today. I should have given them a good beating." At the most inopportune moment, Shen's stomach let out an embarrassing growl. Teacher Chu shot her a disapproving look. "Skipped breakfast again. How many times must I tell you? Breakfast is non-negotiable, your stomach will suffer. Work's been crazy lately. No paycheck is worth your health." Shen Sang listened to Teacher Chu's chattering with a smile. Eventually, Teacher Chu gave Shen Sang some bread to tide her over before starting lunch preparations. As we ate, spring thunder rumbled and the morning's briefly ceased rain began falling again. I got up to close the windows, hearing Teacher Chu and Shen Sang's conversation behind me. It always rains during the national college entrance exams. Looks like this year's no exception, Mr. Shen. Aren't you traveling for work tomorrow? The roads get slippery when it rains. Drive carefully. My hand paused on the window latch, then it hit me. I'd heard Mr. Shen's name before, from a classmate. 6 years after high school graduation, our class held a reunion. Everyone in our class adored Ms. Chu. We wanted to invite her, but our class monitor said she'd left the city right after teaching our cohort, choosing to transfer to rural areas for volunteer teaching. Someone asked, "Why so suddenly?" The monitor explained, Ms. Chu originally came to this city because her close friend Shen Sang lived here. After her friend passed away in a landslide, she couldn't bear to stay in this place of heartbreak. It happened right around our college entrance exams. That day, Teacher Chu got a phone call and her face turned ashen, like the sky had fallen. I've met Teacher Chu's friend before. A really beautiful older sister who often picked her up after work. They were so close. No wonder Teacher Chu was devastated. I turned back to look at Teacher Chu and Shen Sang chatting and laughing together, my expression complicated. They're so perfectly matched. I hope they'll stay this happy together forever. Just like this. I've made up my mind. No matter what it takes, I'll change Shen Sang's fate. During dinner, I pleaded, "Sis Shen, could you take me to my exam tomorrow? I'm afraid my parents might give me trouble." They wouldn't dare. Shen Sang jabbed her chopsticks into the rice bowl. "Fine, I'll go with you tomorrow," Teacher Chu said. "Aren't you supposed to be on a business trip tomorrow?" "The business trip can wait. Our child's college entrance exam comes first, Mr. Shen replied. I wouldn't trust anyone else with something this important. I gave them a grateful smile. Mr. Shen is truly a good man. Good people get their just rewards. 12. On the day of the college entrance exam, My parents predictably wouldn't give up. They brought some tough guys to block the school gate. Mr. Shen arrived with his crew, knocked them flat, and safely escorted me through the school gates. Waving at me, she said, "Zhao Shui, give it your all in the exam, aim to soar toward broader horizons." I nodded emphatically, "Absolutely." On the second day of the college entrance exams, my parents didn't send anyone to harass me. When Shen Sang dropped me off at the school gate again, I understood why. My parents' faces were bruised and swollen. Clearly Shen had taught them a lesson, so they didn't dare bother me anymore. With ample time to prepare this time, those exam papers didn't seem difficult to me. I have a feeling I'll score well on this test. The first thing I did when returning to Teacher Chu's place was turn on the TV. Shortly after, local news reported a mudslide on the highway, fortunately with no casualties. Reading this news report brought a smile to my face. Shen sat down beside me. "You must have done well on the exams to be smiling like that while reading the news." I glanced at Teacher Chu watering flowers in the distance, then turned to Shen beside me. "Yes, really well, 13, even after the college entrance exams." Teacher Chu still worried about me. "Your parents have gone too far this time. Why don't you stay with me before college? I've got a spare room anyway." "I appreciate your kindness, Professor Chu." I made up my mind. When I make something of myself someday, I'll repay Professor Chu and Sister Shen properly. The college entrance exam results are out. I ranked third in the city, a really impressive achievement. Both my school and local businesses awarded me some scholarships. All things considered, it added up to tens of thousands. Enough to cover my college tuition and living expenses. I gave 10,000 to Ms. Chu as a token of gratitude for her guidance. Teacher Chu accepted it, then immediately bought me a laptop, phone, and new clothes. "I've been teaching for years, money's not an issue. How could I actually take your money?" Shen nodded. "If you really want to repay us, study hard and make something of yourself." A wave of warmth flooded my heart. Words of gratitude have been said too many times. This time I'd rather prove it through actions. At the graduation party, I saw Zhao Jiao and Zhou Ting again. Zhou Ting lounged on the couch like a lord while Zhao Jiao bustled around attending to him. I shook my head. Zhao Jiao's rebirth just meant finding a new master to serve. After enduring years of living at others' mercy, how could she not understand that relying on men is never as dependable as self-reliance? My classmates congratulated me one after another when they saw my outstanding exam results. Only Zhao Jiao let out an ill-timed snort. "What's the point of acing exams? You'll still end up working for others." Meanwhile, I'm studying abroad with Zhou Ting. After graduation, I'll marry into his wealthy family as a lady of leisure. Her tactless remark offended half the room, and classmates quickly fired back. Jiao, why didn't you attend Peking University like Zhao Shui? Was it by choice? Sisters, yet worlds apart. One gets into a top school with scholarships, the other has to pay her way abroad. The gap isn't just in IQ, her ego's even bigger. Since when did gold digging become something to brag about? Flushing crimson with rage, Zhao clung to Zhou Ting's arm and whined. "Zhou Ting, they're all bullying me." Zhou Ting slammed the table. "Enough, aren't you ashamed enough already?" Zhao flinched in fright, though spoiled by nature. She bit back her retort, remembering she still needed Zhou Ting's support. Her eyes reddened as she swallowed the humiliation. The private room felt stifling, so I stepped outside for air. Before long, Zhou Ting approached me, his gaze burning with predatory intent. "Zhao Shui, you're far more interesting than your sister. I could take you abroad for studies, if you know how to behave." Zhou Ting looked down on everyone by nature. The truth was, he never saw me as human, just some plaything to manipulate at will. I shot Zhou Ting a glance and sneered. "Give up a top-tier university to follow you into exile. You wish." Just as expected, the moment I clapped back, Zhou Ting immediately dropped the act, his face turning cold. "Zhao Shui, me offering to take you abroad is me doing you a favor. Don't push your luck, fucking asshole." I couldn't be bothered to waste more words on him. Turning around, I headed back to the private room, leaving Zhou Ting fuming where he stood. On my way back, I ran into Zhao who was coming to meet Zhou Ting. Seeing us apart, Zhao visibly relaxed. "Stay away from Zhou Ting, he's mine." Zhao sneered. "Zhao Shui, you must be so proud of getting into that prestigious university, but mark my words, once I marry Zhou Ting, I'll be living the high life as a wealthy socialite. That worthless diploma of yours won't measure up to my status even after 30 years of slaving away." With a triumphant smirk, she strutted toward Zhou Ting as if she'd already won. banking on marriage to change your fate is downright foolish. What's worse, the man Zhao Jiao Jiao set her sights on was nothing but trouble. Deep down, she knew exactly what kind of scoundrel Zhou Ting was. She'd just been blinded by his wealth. Watching her fawn over Zhou Ting with sickening sweetness, I averted my gaze. It's your choice to make. All I can do is respect and wish you well. 14. During summer break, I took on a tutoring job that kept my days fulfilling. One time when I came home, I saw Sister Shin, usually so cheerful, looking troubled while speaking with Teacher Chu, but when I approached, they immediately acted normal, urging me to wash up and join them for dinner. I asked, Sis Shin, are you having some trouble? Shin replied, just a minor thing. Teacher Chu put a chicken drumstick on my plate, saying, alright, let's eat. Shin can handle it, no need to worry. Since they didn't want me to know, I didn't press further, but I can't shake the feeling that Sister Shin's current troubles are somewhat connected to me. After asking around for days, I finally learned what's been troubling Shin. Zhou Ting held a grudge over Shin reprimanding her that day, and urged her parents to teach Shin a lesson. Zhou Ting's parents, who doted on their child excessively, immediately retaliated against Shin. Mr. Shin's business has taken a heavy blow. Though it was clearly my fault, neither Mr. Shin nor Professor Chu breathed a word about it to me. They never held it against me and continued treating me with kindness. My heart swelled with both gratitude and guilt. I wanted to do something for Mr. Shin, but I'm just a high school graduate with nothing to offer, no money, and not enough capability. Even with memories of past lives, I couldn't achieve anything significant. A profound sense of helplessness overwhelmed me as I wandered aimlessly through the streets. I came to a halt when I reached the lottery shop entrance. A long-forgotten memory surfaced in my mind. The year we graduated high school, someone won a 630 million yuan jackpot. A classmate joked in the group chat about memorizing the lottery numbers. If reincarnation's real, he'd be the next billionaire. I can't explain why, but I jotted it down anyway. Having forgotten which draw the winner played, I resorted to the dumbest approach, buying tickets for every single draw. And so I kept buying lottery tickets for a whole month. Forget about hitting the jackpot, I didn't even win a measly $10 prize. Did I remember the wrong number? After all these years, it's only natural I'd mix up the numbers. But this isn't the outcome I wanted. Mr. Shin's company is struggling more each day. And I feel utterly frustrated being unable to help. Shin, on the other hand, took it all in stride, chatting and laughing with Teacher Chu. It's fine, I've still got you, haven't I? Teacher Chu chimed in, if Boss Shin ever goes bankrupt, I'll take care of you. Their relaxed and carefree attitude eased my guilt a little. Heaven still favors me. I hit the jackpot just 2 days before school started. After so much anticipation and repeated disappointments, surprisingly, I felt completely calm when I learned I'd won. Mostly relief. Mr. Shin's company would be saved now. When I told Ms. Shin the news, she thought I was joking. After confirming I'd actually won the jackpot, Ms. Shin excitedly swept me into her arms. Her embrace was warm and sweetly fragrant. Ms. Shin used the money to pull through her difficulties. She's truly wonderful. Ms. Shin even insisted on transferring some company shares to me, saying she couldn't possibly take my money for nothing. The Zhou family spent a fortune trying to undermine Shinseng's company. They eventually stopped harassing Shinseng. After all, business is business. And nobody wants to keep losing money. 15. 5 years flew by in the blink of an eye. During those years, I juggled my studies with starting a company using leftover prize money, leveraging memories from my past life to begin venture investments. There were ups and downs along the way, but I overcame every challenge. By the time I graduated, I'd become a rising star in the business world. Now even Zhou Ting's parents have to address me respectfully as President Zhao. Truth be told, Zhou Ting's parents haven't had it easy these years. Zhou Ting's parents were shady characters, and their company had its fair share of dirty dealings. Shinseng and I never forgot the old grudges. Once our own business stabilized, we seized every opportunity to make them pay. Zhou Ting's parents were swamped with troubles as their company spiraled downward. During this time, my parents came sniffing around for money, trying to play the family card now that I'd made it big. Turns out they had no emotional leverage to play at all. What a joke. I couldn't be bothered with them, told security to keep them out, and blocked their numbers. They pulled the same old emotional blackmail routine, making a scene at my office, wailing, making threats, calling me an ungrateful wretch who abandoned them after making it big. When security asked them to leave, they assaulted the guard and sneered, "My daughter owns this place, lay one finger on me and see what happens." then they started shamelessly screaming, "Assault! My ungrateful daughter is attacking her own parents who sacrificed everything to raise her, just to avoid paying our rightful support." They were absolutely certain I'd cave to their bullying like before and agree to their outrageous demands, but they'd forgotten I wasn't that pushover they used to control anymore. I called the cops immediately. The police treated them to a few days' hospitality at the station and made them compensate the security guards for medical bills and lost wages. After learning their lesson the hard way, they never bothered me again. I next saw Zhao Jiajiao and Zhou Ting at a charity gala after their return from abroad. 16. To be honest, I barely recognized Zhao Jiajiao at first glance. She'd aged considerably, her hair thinning, her eyes dull and lifeless. No amount of foundation could conceal her sallow, exhausted face. Rumor has it she was pregnant with Zhou Ting's child twice abroad, but he accidentally caused both miscarriages. Yet even so, she never considered leaving Zhou Ting. When Zhou Ting's alcoholism destroyed his liver overseas, Zhao Jiajiao still donated part of hers to him. The moment she returned home, she rushed to get married with him. Now, Zhao Jiajiao walked slightly hunched, following Zhou Ting's every step like a marionette on his strings. Having finally entered the glamorous social circle she'd long dreamed of, a faint smile played on Zhao Jiajiao's lips, but it was a hollow smile, tinged with disappointment. Nothing turned out as she had imagined. Being the young mistress of the Zhou family brought her no respect. Now that the Zhous had fallen from grace, this daughter Vine clinging to Zhou Ting found herself utterly neglected. Zhou Ting walked in holding a drink, immediately striking up a conversation with another woman without so much as glancing her way. Zhao Jiajiao swallowed her anger in silence, pretending not to notice as she nursed her drink in miserable solitude. It wasn't until she saw me standing radiant under the spotlight, surrounded by well-wishers, that her lifeless eyes flickered with something new, hatred. When I finally found a quiet corner to sit, she approached me and hissed through clenched teeth, "Zhao Shui, you must be thrilled to see me in such misery." I replied with a beaming smile, "You figured me out. How clever of you. In my past life, Zhao Jiajiao was the death of me. In this lifetime, she nearly destroyed me again. How could I not despise her?" Zhao Jiajiao clenched her fists in rage. "Zhao Shui, you vicious witch, you knew Zhou Ting was abusive and had ulterior motives approaching me, yet you stood by and watched me walk into this living hell." Her eyes burned not just with hatred, but murderous intent. 2 lifetimes, and she hasn't changed a bit. Her life was in shambles, yet she blamed neither her own poor choices nor the man who'd brought her to this point. The only one she hated was me, the one living better than her, the only safe target for her rage. I gave her a long, hard look. "Even if I warned you, would you listen? You'd just think I'm jealous of your good fortune, trying to steal your golden opportunity. In this lifetime, I'd barely interacted with Zhou Ting, yet she still managed to sell me off in marriage. If I tried to reason with her, who knows what outrageous things she might do next." Zhao Jiajiao wouldn't hear it. "If you truly meant well, why wouldn't I listen? If you have any conscience left, tell me how you won Zhou Ting over in our past life. I remember he treated you well eventually. What you achieved, I can achieve too." She's beyond redemption. Even at rock bottom, she still pins her hopes on men to change her fate. "Do you really want to know?" Zhao Jiajiao nodded, her face darkening. "Zhao Shui, are you refusing? I could tell you, but only if you get our parents to sign an agreement, one that severs all ties between them and me for good." "No problem." Zhao Jiajiao agreed without hesitation. Within 2 days, Zhao Jiajiao had my parents sign that very agreement. Before signing the agreement, my parents looked at me with disappointment. "Shui, how could you be so heartless? Raising you wasn't easy. How can you just cut ties with us like this?" I gave them a sardonic smile. Surviving this family wasn't exactly a walk in the park either. "Besides, I'm not forcing you to sign anything." Jiajiao cried out, "Mom, Dad, you're not changing your minds, are you? My entire future happiness is in your hands." My parents avoided my gaze. "We'll sign, of course we'll sign, your happiness comes first." Without hesitation, they signed their names on the spot. The corners of my lips curled up. I knew this would happen. After receiving the agreement, I told Zhao Jiajiao everything she wanted to know. 17. In my past life, Zhou Ting showed his true colors shortly after we married. He was volatile and abusive, beating me regularly for no reason. At first, I kept wondering if I'd done something wrong to deserve such treatment. Eventually I realized Zhou Ting was just a twisted psychopath. Once, we went on an overseas trip together. When we reached the Zhou family's villa there, I imprisoned him. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. Before the imprisonment, I studied numerous books on psychological manipulation to prepare thoroughly. I kept Zhou Ting captive for 4 months, conditioning him throughout that period. 4 months later, he became as docile as a lamb and never dared lay a finger on me again. Upon hearing this, Zhao Jiajiao couldn't wait to put it into practice. 3 months later, the police came knocking, asking if I'd seen Zhao Jiajiao. Turned out Zhao Jiajiao had accidentally killed Zhou Ting after imprisoning him at home. Given her impatience for quick results, lack of theoretical knowledge, and Zhou Ting's naturally weak constitution, this outcome doesn't surprise me at all. Later, when Zhou Ting's parents hadn't heard from him for a while, they decided to visit him in person, fearing her scheme would be exposed. Zhao Jiajiao went all the way and murdered them too. She then set the place on fire, trying to stage it as an accidental blaze, but Zhao Jiajiao never expected that Zhou Ting's parents weren't completely dead. They managed to call the police with their dying breath. Seeing the police arrive, Zhao Jiajiao slipped away unnoticed and remains at large to this day. If you have any information on Zhao Jiajiao's whereabouts, please contact the authorities immediately. Alright. 19. Another half-month passed. That rich kid never married my sister. He just kept her as his mistress on the side. Out of nowhere, a woman in a baseball cap and surgical mask rushed at me, brandishing a knife. Before the assailant could reach me, undercover bodyguards swiftly subdued them. During the struggle, the attacker's cap fell off, revealing Zhao Jiajiao's face. Zhao Jiajiao's face was crisscrossed with burn scars, her entire body reeking of decay. It was clear these days in hiding hadn't been kind to Zhao Jiajiao. She thrashed wildly, screaming, "Zhao Shui, you ruined me. I'll kill you. I could kill you once, I can kill you twice." I didn't bother exchanging more words with her. People like her never take responsibility. It's always someone else's fault when things go wrong. I immediately called the police and had them take her away. 20. Zhao Jiajiao's crimes were so heinous that the court sentenced her to death. The shock of this news gave my mother a stroke, leaving her wheelchair-bound for life. My father didn't fare much better. He fell seriously ill and lost his job. Being too old, he couldn't find decent work and had to make ends meet as a janitor. Ironically, he ended up working alongside that old bachelor who was supposed to be set up with me. The old bachelor held a grudge against him for not selling me to him and constantly bullied him. Serves you right. On my birthday, my father called me from someone else's phone. "Shui Zhao, I know you hate us, but right now, your mother and I are your only family left. You can't just abandon us. We signed the agreement already. Whether you thrive or struggle, that's none of my concern." I glanced at Teacher Chu, who'd been cooking all afternoon for my birthday, and Sister Shin Sang, who'd traveled specially to be here, then said, "Besides, I've already found my real family, people who truly love me." I hung up before he could say another word. That day, surrounded by the warm wishes of loved ones, I made a birthday wish for us to live out our days in peace and happiness. The end. Next story. After Song Kai and I were reborn together, we tacitly pretended that we didn't know each other. He followed the class beauty to go to college in another city, and I stayed in this city, relying on the experience of living an extra life. He quickly became a rising star in the industry, married a beautiful woman, and enjoyed great glory. I stayed with my parents and lived a happy life in my hometown. We met again at a class reunion 10 years later. He hugged the school beauty, smoked a cigar, looked at me in plain clothes, and said sarcastically, "In the past 10 years, have you become like this?" I am indifferent. Until the late business tycoon hugged me and said, "Excuse me, my wife is pregnant. I hope everyone will not smoke indoors." Song Kai, who was usually reserved and calm, was visibly panicked. He finally realized that I was not angry with him after so many years of separation. 1. The next time I met Song Kai was at a class reunion 10 years later. I pushed open the door of the private room and heard someone inside teasing, "Song Kai, you are really good, you even got the class beauty." Nonsense. Don't you see how well Song Kai is doing in the big city now? How can ordinary people like us compare with Boss Song? But I heard that you and Qin were having an affair. You two often studied together, and everyone in the class said you were a couple. At that moment I heard a familiar voice casually say, "It's just a learning partnership. Don't take it seriously." I smiled indifferently. It has been 10 years since I was reborn, so naturally I don't have any emotions anymore. So I calmly opened the door. Even though I hadn't seen him for 10 years, I recognized Song Kai at first sight. He was sitting on the sofa, smoking a cigar, with the class beauty Lin Ranran leaning in his arms. The classmates gathered around them, the two of them are like the moon surrounded by stars. The moment I appeared, everyone looked over at me. The squad leader immediately said enthusiastically, "Oh, if you mention the devil, he will appear, and Ching, look who's here." Song Kai and I looked at each other. He hugged Lin Ranran, looked me up and down with a frivolous look in his eyes, and a hint of disdain flashed in his eyes. "I am dressed simply today. I didn't wear any makeup because I was pregnant." The whole person looked a little dusty. There's no comparison with Lin Ranran. She was wearing a Chanel dress, carrying an Hermes bag, and had exquisite makeup on, making her look like a very pampered person. I greeted them gracefully. "Long time no see." Song Kai nodded slightly, very indifferent. Lin Ranran just smiled slightly. I didn't bother to please them, so I turned around and started chatting with some of my more familiar classmates. "The only one missing is Lu Yen," the squad leader suddenly said. "He just sent us a message saying that the plane is delayed and that we don't need to wait for him." All the students sat around the dining table. They all took the initiative to toast Song Kai and praised him highly. After 3 rounds of drinks, I went to the bathroom. As soon as I came out, I met Song Kai, whose face was red due to alcohol. He said sarcastically, "And Ching, in the 10 years since you left me, have you become like this?" "I am indifferent. I just suddenly remembered what happened before we were reborn, too." Before my rebirth, Song Kai and I had a fierce argument on the highway. The reason was that after graduating from university, I accompanied Song Kai to the big city and worked hard together for a full 10 years. Now that my career has been somewhat successful, I want to go back to my hometown. I am an only child. My father died last year because he suffered a cerebral hemorrhage and was not sent to the hospital in time. My mother is the only one left at home, and I am worried about her. Song Kai also promised me that he would go back once he made a certain amount of money, but now he keeps procrastinating, saying that there is no future in his hometown and it is not worth going back, and he told me clearly that he would never go back. At worst, I can bring my mother here to raise her, but my mother had been here a long time ago. She was not used to this city and had no relatives or friends around her, not to mention my mom. I haven't felt a sense of belonging in this city for so many years. I finally couldn't help but get angry at him. "If you don't go back, I will go back by myself." "Do you really have to push me like this?" Song Kai questioned me. "What's wrong with staying in this city? Do you want to be a country bumpkin for the rest of your life? When our child is born, will we lose at the starting line?" I am now 5 months pregnant. Also because I'm pregnant, I want to go back even more. I know how hard it is to leave a city once a child is born. Besides, my hometown is not bad, although it is not an international first-tier city. It is also a quasi-first-tier city, and is not as bad as Song Kai said. "According to you, people who stay in small cities are useless. Only useless people would be willing to live in a small city, muddle-headed all their lives, without any ambitions." Song Kai's face was full of contempt. "I despise people like this the most, in your mind. This is who I am, right?" I sneered. "I don't want you to become such a person," Song Kai said righteously. Then he suddenly said, "If I had known earlier, I shouldn't have chosen to stay in my hometown with you to go to college. It delayed me for 4 years. I should have come here earlier with Lin Ranran to work hard, before graduating from high school." Lin Ranran confessed to him, but he rejected her. "He and I have been study partners for 3 years. And we have already developed feelings for each other, but ever since he accompanied me to apply for university in my hometown, I don't know how many times these 14 years have been repeated. At first I thought he was just joking. Maybe he was telling me in disguise how good he was to me, how much he loved me, and how much he had sacrificed for me. Later I found out that he really felt very regretful. So after we had a car accident and were unexpectedly reborn together on the day of filling out college entrance examination applications, he had no choice but to follow Lin Ranran to go to college in another province. I stayed in this city. We both knew that the other had been reborn, but we both tacitly agreed not to interfere with each other. 3. I thought Song Kai and I would never have any contact with each other in this life, looking at his appearance at this moment. It was obvious that he was waiting for me on purpose. Seeing that I didn't say anything, he sarcastically said, "Now you finally understand what great development you can achieve by staying in your hometown. Look at yourself, and then look at these old classmates, who is living a good life, but it's too late for you to regret. I've already planned to marry Lin Ranran." He took out a huge ring. The diamond is huge, about 5 carats. "The reason I could tell it at a glance is that it looks a little smaller than the one I have at home," he said. "If you hadn't done it, this ring would have belonged to you." When Song Kai and I got married in my previous life, he wasn't as rich as he is now, so the ring he bought was very ordinary. The show-off at this moment is also undisguised. Then congratulations, I said indifferently, walk right past him. I felt Song Kai's gaze behind me, and he seemed unhappy. I don't even know what he's upset about. He chose his own path, and the life he lives is what he dreamed of in his previous life. Could it be that he really needs to see me regretting things in order to be happy? I sat back in my dining chair when the phone rang, looking at the incoming call. I answered it. Have you gotten off the plane? Yes, I'll be right there. If you're tired, then don't come over. I'll go back by myself later. How can you let your wife go to a class reunion by herself and then go back by herself? She'll be there in 20 minutes. I smiled and said nothing more, putting down the phone. Suddenly someone came over, and Ching, Lin Ranran took the initiative to bring over a glass of wine. Long time no see. I'll toast you a glass and thank you, Lin Ranran said with a smile. I heard from Akai that if you hadn't been his study partner, he wouldn't have been able to get into a 211 university. I can't say thank you, we just helped each other. No matter what, you have contributed to Kai's current success. I'll toast to you on his behalf. As he said this, he was about to pour beer into my glass. I don't drink, I refused. Just drink a little. She poured me a glass of wine despite my objections, and I pushed her away with my hand. Ah, Lin Ranran suddenly screamed. The beer spilled all over her clothes and bag. She quickly took a napkin and kept wiping it, saying, "My clothes and bag can't get wet." The other students also knew that the set she was wearing was very valuable, and they all looked at her nervously. Lin Ranran wiped it for a long time, then said to me, "And Ching, even if you are jealous of me, you can't do this to me. You damaged my clothes and bag. Can you afford to pay for it?" I haven't spoken yet. Song Kai walked over and angrily said, "And Ching, you're going too far." "I didn't mean to do that," I explained. "I really didn't mean it. And it seemed that I didn't push the bottle of wine just now. I just stopped Lin Ranran from pouring the wine, but for some reason, the wine poured out of the beer bottle in her hand and spilled all over her. I just said that Ranran and I are getting married, and you got so upset." Song Kai ridiculed me in public. The students next to him couldn't help but talk about it. Really, I think Ching is a very calm person. She wouldn't be jealous of others, right? Don't judge a person by his appearance. The more some people act as if they don't care, the more they care deep down. I heard that Ching and Song Kai were together before, but they broke up after Song Kai went to college in another city. Now that Ching sees that Song Kai is doing so well, she must be regretting not leaving with Song Kai, right? I am really speechless, but he still patiently explained again, "I really didn't mean it just now, and I said I don't drink, but Lin Ranran insisted on pouring me some wine, so the accident happened. I sincerely thank you for accompanying Song Kai to practice the questions, and I hope you can let go of your obsession," Lin Ranran said sincerely. "I know you have always been thinking about Song Kai." I was completely stunned. He looked at Lin Ranran in confusion. "How did you know that I'm obsessed with Song Kai? Did I say something that made you misunderstand, or was there something wrong with my expression or eyes today?" "And Ching, stop pretending," Lin Ranran said firmly. "Song Kai is doing so well now, it's impossible for you not to feel sorry for him." "I don't feel sorry." I spoke each word clearly. "I chose my own path. I am very satisfied with my current life." Song Kai sneered and didn't believe it at all. "I don't want to explain either. There is nothing to explain. They are just unrelated people. Today's meeting was just an accident. If I had known Song Kai would come, I might have avoided him. It's not that there is something that I can't let go of. But there is no need to meet people from the previous life again. People from the previous life should stay in the past. I'll compensate you for the clothes and bags." I didn't want to waste any more time talking to them, so I said, "Send me the price and your bank account number, and I'll transfer the money to you." "Compensation?" Song Kai asked directly. "Do you know how much Ranran's clothes and bag cost?" "The clothes cost 150,000. The bag cost 300,000, not including the accessories. The cheapest price is 450,000. What are you going to use to compensate?" I took a deep breath. I told myself not to be angry about Song Kai's contempt for others. The doctor said pregnant women should maintain a good mood. I'm not such a petty person. Just apologize to Ranran and let it go. Song Kai said magnanimously. "You can't just apologize," Lin Ranran quickly added. "You have to promise in front of all your classmates that you won't have any improper thoughts about Song Kai in the future." 5. Oh, I laughed. I was so angry that I laughed. Looking at Lin Ranran's arrogant look, I picked up the half-spilled wine bottle next to me. The doctor said that pregnant women should not get angry, but they should not hold their breath either. Then, I slowly poured the half bottle of wine onto Lin Ranran's clothes and bag. Lin Ranran was frightened. She looked at me in disbelief, and after a long while she said, "And Qing, are you crazy? What are you doing?" At the same time, Song Kai also protected Lin Ranran behind him and pushed me. Fortunately, the squad leader behind me quickly protected me and stood in front of me. Fearing that Song Kai would impulsively do something unmanageable, he advised, "Song Kai, don't get excited, and Qing, I gave you face, didn't I?" Song Kai said fiercely, "How dare you treat Lin Ranran like this? Who do you think you are? I don't need you to give me face. And I don't think of myself as anyone else, I am just myself," I said coldly. He added, "Since I agreed to pay the compensation, the clothes and bag she was wearing are mine. How I ruined them is my business. Is it your business? Can you afford the compensation?" Song Kai asked me harshly. "Give me the bank account number," I said word by word. "Are you going to lose everything just because of a fight? And Qing, you should have curbed your stubborn temper a long time ago, otherwise we wouldn't be like this today. Give me your bank account number," I repeated, my voice a little louder. "Don't regret it," Song Kai threatened. "Akai, stop talking nonsense to her," Lin Ranran yelled at him. She was about to explode with anger. "Since she doesn't appreciate it, then give her the account number and see if she can afford to pay so much money." Song Kai did not hesitate any longer and said a string of numbers. I entered my bank account number and transferred the money directly. But the system reminded me that the password was wrong. I remember this as the password. After thinking for a while, he entered another password, still prompts an error. I pursed my lips. Is it true that pregnancy makes people stupid for 3 years? Suddenly I can't remember it. Song Kai and Lin Ranran were waiting on the side, and my classmates were looking at me, watching such a great show. "See, I haven't turned out yet," Lin Ranran laughed first. "And Qing, weren't you quite arrogant just now? Where's the money? Why didn't I see any extra money in Akai's account?" At this moment, Song Kai was also holding his mobile phone in his hand, but there was no notification of the money arriving. "I forgot my password," I explained. "I'm afraid if I make another mistake, my account will be locked." "What a good excuse." Lin Ranran was extremely sarcastic. Song Kai smiled contemptuously. The classmates around me were also whispering. I thought Qing really had to pay compensation. I felt so bad for her. Who is so stupid? 450,000 is half a house. Originally, Song Kai and Lin Ranran didn't care, but Qing insisted on doing it herself. "You've been slapped in the face now, haven't you? You're embarrassed now, aren't you?" Lin Ranran asked me coldly. "So, are you going to write an IOU? How long will it take to pay it back? 1 year, 2 years, or a lifetime?" 10 minutes, I said bluntly. In 10 minutes, Lu Yan finally arrived. "Don't pretend, and Qing, you can't afford to pay me back." Lin Ranran didn't want to waste time with me. "You could have just apologized verbally, but now you have to kneel down and beg me." Everybody is laughing at me. Fortunately, the next moment, the door was suddenly pushed open, accompanied by a familiar voice. "Sorry, I'm late." 6. Lu Yan walked in. Everyone looked over there. He apologized. "The plane was delayed, I'm late." Having said that, he walked straight to my side. He looked at the scene in front of him and noticed something strange. "What's wrong?" "It's just a small misunderstanding." The class monitor quickly tried to smooth things over, and said to Lin Ranran and Song Kai, "We are all classmates. There is no need to make things so awkward. Can you give me some face?" Squad leader, "It's not that we don't give you face, it's Qing who doesn't know what's good for her," Lin Ranran said arrogantly. I didn't bother with her at first, but she insisted on pouring wine on me. No matter how much I don't care, she still has to give me an explanation. "Right, really." Lu Yan turned his head and looked at me, with a smile on his face. "You poured wine on someone, Lu Yan. I heard that you had a crush on Qing when you were in school. I don't want to discredit her in front of you, but she is really too much. Just because she was jealous of me and Song Kai being together, she deliberately picked a fight with me and even soiled my clothes and bag. You come from a well-off family, so you should recognize the brand on me, right? Are you jealous of Lin Ranran?" Lu Yan asked me with a frown. "What do you think?" I asked him back. "There's nothing to be jealous of," Lu Yan said to himself. Lin Ranran was a little unhappy. "Lu Yan, is it possible that after so many years, you still like Ching. Yes, it has never changed, Lu Yan admitted generously. The other students were very surprised. They don't know that Lu Yan and I are married. In fact, Lu Yan has been pursuing me for many years, but I have never agreed. I don't want to go through a marriage like the one with Song Kai again. Neither of us made any principled mistakes, but it was just suffocating. Later, I gradually discovered that Lu Yan and Song Kai were actually different. There is no need for me to live in the past, always look forward. Plus, my parents started urging me to fall in love and get married, so she agreed to date Lu Kai, and they got their marriage certificate this year. Because I found out I was pregnant shortly after getting the marriage certificate, we postponed the wedding and didn't have time to inform anyone. It's because of her that I came to the class reunion today, Lu Yan said frankly, and then turned around and asked me, so what's the situation now? I forgot my bank card password. Can you transfer 450,000 yuan to Song Kai's bank card as compensation to Lin Ranran? I replied, give me the card number. Lu Yan took out his cell phone. Lin Ranran was stunned. Song Kai's expression also became visibly ugly. Lu Yan, this is between us and Ching. You'd better not interfere. Ching, you're going too far. You soiled my clothes and asked Lu Yan to pay for it. Do you really think Lu Yan is a sucker? You treat people like this just because they like you, Lin Ranran said unconvinced. They all knew that Lu Yan came from a well-off family. When we were in high school, he picked us up in a Mercedes-Benz 7. I am happy to do so, Lu Yan said with great pride. I am willing to be needed by her. Lin Ranran was so angry that she couldn't speak. She was going to embarrass me. As for why she dislikes me so much, I don't know. No matter what happened between Song Kai and I happened 800 years ago, so there's no need to worry about it. Is this the card number? Lu Yan entered the bank card number and asked Song Kai to confirm. Song Kai took a look, said nothing with a cold face. Lu Yan did not delay and transferred the money. Song Kai received a text message reminder of the arrival of his account. Lin Ranran turned her head to take a look and said in disbelief, Lu Yan, you really helped Ching pay 450,000. What else? Lu Yan said impatiently. Now that I've compensated you, can you go back to your own position? Lin Ranran gritted her teeth. She glanced at Song Kai. Song Kai said nothing and walked away with a gloomy face. Lin Ranran hurriedly followed Song Kai back to their original position. Song Kai picked up the remaining cigar in front of him and started smoking again. The squad leader was inviting everyone to eat and drink. Lu Yan sat next to me, watching Song Kai smoking, frowning. Sorry Song Kai, my wife is pregnant, please don't smoke indoors. Song Kai was stunned for a moment. I didn't react to Lu Yan's words for a moment. Lin Ranran was also very surprised and asked quickly, your wife? Who is your wife? Isn't it obvious? Lu Yan chuckled. He took me in his arms and introduced me openly. We just got the marriage certificate and haven't held the wedding banquet yet, so we haven't had time to inform everyone, but because Ching got pregnant unexpectedly, the wedding will be postponed. Are you married to Ching? Lin Ranran's voice became shrill. Is there a problem? Lu Yan asked Lin Ranran. Lin Ranran was instantly embarrassed, blushed, and felt ashamed. She just said arrogantly that I was jealous of her and Song Kai being together, and scolded me for being poor. But as everyone knows, Lu Yan was a top student in school during his student days. In addition to his good family background, his academic performance was also among the best in the school. After graduating from university, he started his own business. His current business achievements are no worse than Song Kai, and are even slightly better. It's just that the two people developed in different cities. There is no intersection. But both of them must have heard about each other's achievements among their classmates. That's why Lin Ranran is so ashamed at this moment. The eyes of the classmates around her when they looked at Lin Ranran also changed. Suddenly I felt that she was a bit contemptuous. Of course, I never thought about showing off my relationship with Lu Yan. When I was with him, what I valued was never his money, identity, or status, but the fact that we shared the same ideals. After living my life again, I now deeply understand how important it is for two people to have the same values. Otherwise, no matter how beautiful the love is, it will eventually be buried in the grave of marriage. After announcing my relationship with Lu Yan, all my classmates actively and proactively toasted us. Lu Yan defended himself and said, my wife can't drink alcohol, she can only drink milk. I understand. We won't be like some people who take advantage of their wealth to bully others. A classmate said ambiguously. For a time, the public opinion among classmates changed completely. Lin Ranran's face looked extremely ugly. She looked at Song Kai with a face full of grievance, hoping that Song Kai could speak for her, but Song Kai's eyes were not on her at all. Instead, he looked straight at me. I didn't want to respond to him, but I felt a little uncomfortable with Song Kai's gaze, so I turned to look over. 8. Song Kai's eyes were a little red, like very angry. I don't know what he is angry about. Isn't it the best arrangement for everyone to be well now? Lu Yan seemed to have noticed Song Kai's look. He chuckled and said, Mr. Song, are you dissatisfied with my marriage to Enqing? Song Kai withdrew his gaze, crushed the cigar fiercely, drank his wine by himself, and said nothing. Lu Yan didn't waste time on him. He hugged me and gathered with his classmates. Everybody is congratulating us. It is said that after all these years, Lu Yan finally saw the moon through the clouds. They say Lu Yan and I are a match made in heaven. The class reunion was very lively and was not affected by the unpleasant incident just now. In fact, the atmosphere was even better because of Lu Yan's arrival. Everyone also focused their attention on Lu Yan and me, and Song Kai and Lin Ranran, who were originally popular, were ignored. The two of them also became unexpectedly low-key. Even before the class reunion was over, Song Kai slammed the door and left. Lin Ranran hurriedly followed Song Kai and left. What's that sudden look on his face? A classmate looked at Song Kai speechlessly as he left. Another classmate echoed, he thinks he can look down on others just because he has been in a big city for a few years. We are just giving him some face and support because we are classmates. Does he really think he is so great? I really don't envy Song Kai. He is doing well in the big city. But there is no need for him to act so superior in front of his classmates, as if we are inferior to him. That's right, everyone has their own way of life to choose, and no one is nobler than anyone else. The classmates were somewhat dissatisfied with Song Kai's attitude today. I'm used to it. Song Kai looks down on people from small cities from the bottom of his heart. I believe that people from small cities have never seen the world and are not on the same level. After the class reunion, Lu Yan and I sat in the car. Lu Yan drank some wine and was a little drunk. He said sourly, it seems Song Kai hasn't forgotten you yet. Impossible, I was sure. He just couldn't bear to see me living a good life. In his opinion, if I stayed in a small city, I would waste my time and regret it for the rest of my life. But I didn't expect that I would actually settle down here. He finally realized that I was not angry with him after so many years of separation. Lu Yan didn't say anything more. He just held me tightly in his arms and whispered in my ear, I should thank him for abandoning you back then. It's hard to say who abandoned whom. I always felt that this was a choice made by both of us, so I never hated Song Kai at all. If he hadn't suddenly appeared in front of me, I would have probably really forgotten him. 9. However, the next day, I received a call from Song Kai, who said, Enqing, let's meet. I refused directly. What else is there for us to meet? I'll be waiting for you at Iceland Coffee. After saying that, Song Kai hung up the phone. He seemed certain that I would go. Just like in my previous life, he can accurately grasp my personality. No matter who is right or wrong in our dispute, the final result will definitely be what Song Kai wants. Otherwise, in my previous life, Song Kai wouldn't have asked me to live with him in another place for 10 years. This time, I did as he wished and went. There will also be a little curiosity. What on earth does he want to do? By the way, let me make it clear, we will never have any contact with each other again from now on. I walked into the cafe. The moment Song Kai saw me, I saw a smile of success in his eyes. In his mind, I am so easy to control. I sat down in front of him and asked straight to the point, what's the matter, cappuccino or mocha? Song Kai asked me, boiled water. I said bluntly, I'm pregnant, so I can't drink coffee. I saw Song Kai's expression change slightly. But in the end, nothing was said. He asked the waiter to give me a glass of boiled water. He said, Enqing, I didn't expect you to be with Lu Yan. When you were in school, didn't you say you didn't like him? People change. I said coldly, didn't you reject Lin Ranran's confession back then? Aren't you still with her now? It's because, Song Kai didn't say the words that were on the tip of his tongue. I wasn't interested either. So I just said, in marriage, only you know the ups and downs. Whether it's right for you or not, only you know it. What do you mean? Are you saying that our marriage in the previous life was inappropriate? Song Kai was a little angry. Why else? I admitted. Why else would we go our separate ways? I'm just teaching you a lesson, Song Kai said angrily. I'm just making you understand that your obsession in your previous life was wrong. Once you regret it, come to me and we can reconcile. I just looked at Song Kai, didn't laugh either. Not angry either, I just feel helpless. I asked Song Kai in confusion, why do you feel so superior? Because everything I did was right, Song Kai said firmly, my choice was right. Look at the students around me. How many of those who stayed in the local area have achieved great success? Yes, Liu Yan has done well, but it's because of his family background. Without the help of his family, Liu Yan would still be useless. Only I, relying on my own hands, have made a name for myself in this international metropolis. Song Kai became more and more excited as he spoke. I drank boiled water and didn't interrupt him. It was not until he saw that I had remained silent that he angrily asked, why don't you speak? Everything you said is right. What can I say help you? And Qing, there's no need to be so sarcastic. Is it so difficult to admit that others are excellent? 10. Yes, you are indeed excellent, I affirmed. It is not easy to survive on your own in a strange city, let alone Song Kai is doing so well. I saw an uncontrollable smile of satisfaction on Song Kai's face. I continued, I have never thought that your ambition is wrong. I have never denied your achievements. Looking at the development of the world, it really needs positive people like you to create greater value for society. But Song Kai, your choice is right. Does that mean others' choices are necessarily wrong? What qualifications do you have to judge or even ridicule other people's lives? You have broadened your horizons in the big city, given yourself a better life, and made greater contributions to society. This is your responsibility to society, but where is your responsibility towards your family? Have you ever thought about your parents? Don't they want you to stay with them? Yes, the money you give them is enough for their retirement, but when people reach a certain age, they really feel that some things are more important than money. I didn't finish my sentence. Song Kai couldn't listen anymore. He said, and Qing, I don't want to listen to your lectures. Yes, there's no way he would listen to my ideas. In his mind, no one can change what he has determined. That's why I realize so deeply how important it is for two people to have the same values. I won't say any more. The two were silent for a while. Song Kai suddenly said, and Qing, I won't beat around the bush. I came to you today to ask you if you are willing to go back with me. I was stunned for a moment, thinking I had heard it wrong. Song Kai looked at me and sighed, yes, just consider it as me giving in to you. Come back with me now, and we will pretend that the past 10 years have never happened. The only condition is that you abort the baby in your belly. I was silent for a long time before I digested what Song Kai said. I thought Song Kai asked me to meet him today just to show off how well he was doing and how much I'd lost by leaving him. I came to see him today to tell him that I am living a good life now and have never regretted it for a second. I never thought that he would ask for peace. The two people have long been people from two different worlds. Are you two happy? Song Kai saw that I didn't say anything and asked me with raised eyebrows, Song Kai, are you crazy? I finally couldn't help it and raised my voice a little louder. Song Kai looked extremely ugly. I'm married now, pregnant, and have a very stable and happy family. And you already have a fiancé and have established yourself in the big city, and now you ask me to be with you. I was really speechless. Is it that I can't admit your excellence, or that you can't stand seeing me do well? Song Kai was embarrassed by what I said. He retorted, and Qing, I know you have been angry with me for the past 10 years. Isn't it because I didn't fulfill your wish to go back to your hometown? Okay, I promise you, when I go back and take care of the work, I will accompany you back to your hometown and stay with your parents. I looked at Song Kai in silence. Song Kai thought I was thinking, and said generously, I know it's difficult for you to make a decision right now. I'm leaving the day after tomorrow. Just give me your reply before the day after tomorrow. No need to wait until the day after tomorrow. I will answer you now. 11. Song Kai looked at me, somewhat surprised. He said, have you thought about it? No need to think about it, Song Kai. I have my own life now. What happened between us is long gone. The moment we were reborn, we made the choice. I don't need you to wrong yourself. Give up your big city, and give up your pursuit of life. And Qing, you'd better think it over carefully. I won't lower myself to seek peace with you like I did today next time. If your purpose today is just for the whole, then there is no need for us to waste any more time. I stood up directly. Goodbye. Never see you again. And Qing, Song Kai grabbed me. There was a flash of panic in his eyes. I'd done this much. What else are you dissatisfied with? Song Kai asked me harshly. What have you done? Just one sentence from you has brought us back together after 10 years of separation. Why, Song Kai? So what do you want from me? Song Kai gritted his teeth and said, I'll try my best to satisfy you. I don't need anything. I just want you to stay away from me. And Ching, enough of your temper. Just think of it as me being naughty. I couldn't explain it to him clearly, and I didn't care what he was thinking. I will continue to be naughty in the future, so Mr. Song, don't waste your time on me. And Ching, what do you want? Song Kai was a little upset. Do you want me to kneel down and beg you, admit that I still like you, admit that you are the only one I want in my life? I looked at Song Kai. What he said today overturned my perception of him. Seeing me suddenly fall silent, Song Kai softened his tone a lot. Let's just treat these 10 years as a dream, and let's start over. I chose to leave because I was angry with you. Not because I didn't love you anymore. How can you be angry? I laughed sarcastically. You just walked the path you wanted to walk, and finally found that you were not so happy, so you wanted to go back and start over. Song Kai was very excited, as if he was angry out of shame. He said, when did I regret it? Do I need to regret my current achievements? I said a word and Lin Ranran wanted to give birth to a child for me immediately. What you think is really not important to me at all. I said calmly, from the moment you followed Lin Ranran to go to study abroad, there is no relationship between us anymore. And Ching, stop pretending. You just can't accept that I left you. You just can't let go of your pride and reconcile with me. But I'm giving you a way out now. I really can't accept that you left with Lin Ranran without hesitation. I admit that I felt lost after my rebirth. I didn't expect Song Kai to make up his mind so quickly and do it so decisively. I thought that after so many years of our relationship, he would be somewhat hesitant, but not at all. During that time I felt like a joke. It was from that moment that I let go of all my obsession with you. I looked at Song Kai. If you hadn't suddenly appeared in front of me now, I wouldn't even remember you. And Ching, I don't care whether you believe it or not. This is what I really think. I hope you will never appear in front of me again and disturb my happy, fulfilling and desirable life. I shook off Song Kai's hand fiercely and walked away without looking back. 12. I thought that since I had talked so much and had such an unpleasant experience with Song Kai, our relationship was completely over. There will never be any intersection again. Even if we meet by chance, we will just be strangers. But I didn't expect that half a month later, I received another message from Song Kai. And Ching, I'm back and I'm never leaving again. I was totally stunned. I clearly recognize all the words above, but now I suddenly can't understand their meaning. Can we meet once? I turned off my phone immediately, just treat it as an illusion. But when I got off work, I saw Song Kai standing at the company gate waiting for me. After I became pregnant, Lu Yan actually suggested that I stop working, but I felt that it would be more boring to be alone at home, and it would also make me more prone to prenatal depression, so I insisted on going to work. And Ching, Song Kai walked up to me holding a large bouquet of flowers. I'm really a little disgusted. Wasn't what I said clear enough? I asked him, didn't you want me to let you come back to me just because of one word from me? Now I have taken care of all my business outside the city, and I will come back here to develop with peace of mind in the future. I will never leave again, Song Kai promised. Do you really think that things have turned out like this between us just because I want to go back home and you want to stay away? Otherwise, how could we drift apart when we love each other so much? We drifted apart because we both made our own choices, because we both gave up on each other. I haven't given up on you. Song Kai was very excited. I know you are living a good life now. Lu Yan treats you very well. He is willing to stay with you in the city you like. He can give you excellent living conditions, but I can give you all these now. You know I'm doing fine. Why are you still bothering me? Because the one you really like in your heart is me, Song Kai said firmly. You only chose to be with Lu Yan because of my departure. Now that I'm back, you shouldn't go against your heart. I didn't laugh at Song Kai's self-righteousness. After all, I really loved him back then, which gave him the confidence to say those words. Song Kai, do you know that love will lead to disappointment and disappear? I looked at Song Kai. Song Kai's eyes were red. He probably didn't expect that I would really be so indifferent to him. He was so indifferent that he really couldn't feel any emotion from me. In my last life, I accompanied you to another place for development. You promised me that you would come home, but in the end you said you would never come back. I have never questioned your pursuit of your career. And you have indeed succeeded. I am angry because you should not have lied to me. From the moment you asked me to accompany you to another place, you never thought about coming back, right? Song Kai made excuses for himself. I was afraid that you wouldn't go with me. I really love you and I'm afraid of losing you. after your rebirth, you followed Lin Ranran to another place without a second thought. Didn't you ever think about losing me? Song Kai was speechless, he said painfully. I thought you loved me enough and would always wait for me. I didn't expect you would really be with another man. Because I'm with other men, you can't accept it, so you come back to me, right? 13, and Ching, I really like you. Lin Ranran and I are just together for a short period of time. The person I love from the beginning to the end is you, Song Kai said affectionately. The more I listened, the more disgusted I felt. You don't like Lin Ranran. But you wasted 10 years of someone else's youth. You said you like me, but you insisted that I submit to you. Now you find that everything is out of your control. You start to panic and regret. Don't you think your behavior is dirty? I'm sorry, Song Kai suddenly apologized. He didn't seem to know how to defend himself. I'm sorry, and Ching, can you forgive me this time? I will never let you down again. Song Kai took out the ring from his arms. It was the wedding ring he said he would give to Lin Ranran, he said, and Ching, do you still remember this ring? We didn't buy it when we got married because we didn't have enough money, but I promised you that I would give it to you. I came back this time because I wanted to get back together with you. I bought this ring especially for you. Do you know why Lin Ranran targeted you at the class reunion? Because she knew that I wanted to get back together with you. I laughed when I heard it. It turned out that at the class reunion, he wanted to get back together with me, but the way he got back together was not to be nice to me proactively, but to intimidate me. Let me go back and beg him with a smug face. I didn't want to say more, but looking at the ring, I couldn't help but say, I remember in my last life, you didn't give me any money even though you had it. I was too busy in my previous life. No. It's only after you lose something that you realize you should cherish it. Even if it's my fault, it's all my fault. And Ching, can you give me another chance? Marry me and we'll start over. This time, I'll give you everything you want. Speaking of, Song Kai knelt down and proposed to me at the company gate. Maybe I loved him too much in my previous life, which is why he was so confident that as long as he came back, we would be back to normal. I shook my head and rejected it coldly. There is no chance. And Ching, I really gave up the development of the big city for you. That's your choice. It has nothing to do with me. I interrupted him, and I've said it before, the city is not the main reason for our separation. It's your actions time and time again that make me feel disappointed. I'll change it. You won't change. Everything you do has a purpose. I didn't need to show him mercy. You know I loved you very much, so you can use my feelings to deceive me unscrupulously. You know that even if I find out in the end, I will forgive you. You bought the ring not because I liked it, but because you wanted to keep me in this way, because you found that I really don't care about you anymore. You chose to stay now, not for me, but because your parents are old, and your mother suddenly fell ill. They need you to come back and stay with them to take care of them, but Lin Ranran will not stay here with you, so you thought of me. I said it calmly, even laughed, because I realized that I really didn't care at all. Even though he knew that Song Kai's motives were all impure, he would not have any emotional fluctuations. I watched Lu Yen walk towards me from a distance. I know he is waiting for me. He respects all my decisions. He also has enough confidence, because of how good he is to me. Song Kai can never compare to him. 14, wife, can we go now? Lu Yen asked me while hugging my body. I nodded. He didn't even look at Song Kai anymore. We turned and left. I made up my mind to stay, really because of you. Not Lin Ranran, nor my parents, Song Kai said loudly behind us. I stopped and said, even without these so-called purposes, I can't be with you again. Song Kai, I don't love you anymore. I just don't love you anymore. Really, I can't remember any of the good times I had with Song Kai. The happiness I see now is within my sight. They were all given by Lu Yen. After that, I never gave Song Kai any chance to get close to me. I blocked his mobile number and never answered any calls from unknown numbers. I submitted my resignation. Originally, Lu Yen felt sorry for me working outside and said that he could support me. He was really worried that I would be bored at home so I could go to his company. I refused before because I didn't want to become too dependent on him. Now, I deeply feel that we are a family. A few months later, I gave birth to a daughter. Half a year later, Lu Yen and I had a grand wedding. Many old classmates were invited, of course not Song Kai. When Lu Yen and I went to toast at our classmates' table, we heard a classmate say, Song Kai hasn't been out of town for more than a year. I heard that he and Lin Ranran broke up. Song Kai's mother passed away a few days ago. Another classmate said, fortunately, Song Kai stayed at home with her for more than a year, otherwise how could I feel at ease? I went to the funeral a few days ago. Song Kai looked very different. He was not as radiant as he was at our class reunion last year. He looked lifeless. It is said that when his mother died, her biggest regret was that she did not have a grandson. Could it be that Song Kai has been obsessed with Lin Ranran? No, a female classmate whispered. Lin Ranran was willing to stay in her hometown for Song Kai, and took the initiative to ask Song Kai for peace, but was rejected by Song Kai. Lin Ranran said that Song Kai could not forget. She glanced at me and didn't finish her words. I know it's not appropriate to say such things in this situation. I pretended not to hear anything and calmly drank my wedding wine and greeted the guests. After the wedding, Lu Yan and I returned home tired. I was too tired to move. Lu Yan is sorting out the gifts we received. Then he suddenly called me, and Qing, there is a private red envelope for you. Lu Yan gave it to me. I saw the name Song Kai on the red envelope. I didn't see him today. I looked at Lu Yan. Lu Yan smiled and said, I didn't see it either. I opened the red envelope and saw a ring inside. There was also a letter and a gift worth about 888 yuan. I opened the letter. 15, and Qing, happy wedding. I know you didn't want to see me, but I couldn't help but come to your wedding. I shouldn't have let you find out. I just want to come and see you, to see if you are really happy. Then I'll probably give up. I'll probably really face reality. You really don't love me anymore, not in love at all. I still arrogantly thought that as long as I looked back, you would be waiting for me there. You are absolutely right. When I was reborn, I left not just to be angry with you. I always thought that without you, I could be happy with anyone else, and I could still live a good life. In the past few years, I have indeed enjoyed unprecedented freedom. I don't have to consider your mood. I don't have to be forced to eat breakfast by you. I won't be scolded by you for coming back drunk from social events. And I don't have to be nagging by you to go back to my hometown every day. But suddenly one day, I began to miss you. I miss the meals you cooked. I miss you sitting in the living room waiting for me no matter how late I get home from social events. I miss you holding me tightly in your arms. I've thought about you for a long time, but I never came to see you. I stubbornly believe that you should be the one to give in between us, because your choice is wrong, until I finally couldn't bear it anymore. I want to be with you so much that I even often call Lin Ranran by your name. So, I came back and attended the class reunion. When I saw you dressed simply, I naively thought I won. You are having such a hard time. If I ask you to come back to me now, you will definitely not refuse. But reality slapped me hard in the face. The way you look at me, there's no love in it. I thought I could use money to suppress you, but I didn't expect that you married Lu Yan and you were pregnant. Not only do you have enough money, you also have enough love. I started to panic. I didn't know what to do to get you back to me. I always told myself that you chose Lu Yan only because you were angry with me. The person you love is me. You loved me so much in my previous life. It's impossible for you to just stop loving me. So I came to you shamelessly. I think I have a chance of winning. I can give you everything that Lu Yan can give you, and you love me more, and you will be moved by me. Now that I think about it, I was really just bringing shame upon myself. Why should I abandon you and still feel justified in thinking that you will wait for me here forever? I'm really selfish and dark. He hugged Lin Ranran, looked me up and down with a frivolous look in his eyes, and a hint of disdain flashed in his eyes. Man, will I know that no matter what I say, it's useless. I'm just really sad. And Qing, my heart hurts so much. I went to the hospital to see you on the day you gave birth. I saw Lu Yan holding your child, and I saw the joy of being a father for the first time on his face. I thought of the unborn child we had in our previous life. I was really looking forward to his coming, and I was ready to be a father. But again, I missed it. Sorry, Anqing. Sorry. I wish you happiness forever. I looked at the letter helplessly, with mixed feelings. Song Kai's current mood is probably the same as how I felt when I saw Song Kai leave without looking back when I was just reborn, even though I always tell myself to respect the other person's choice. But when the night is quiet, I will still break down, feel unwilling, feel pain, and feel unbearable. But now, it's all over. I don't know how long it will take Song Kai to get over it. Really, it doesn't matter anymore. I threw the letter into the trash. I didn't see the words on the back of the envelope. And Qing, I will be waiting for you outside your wedding room tonight. Lu Yan watched my actions and smiled at me from the side. He said, wife, a night of love is worth 1,000 gold. We turned out the lights. The long night, no longer alone. Story 2. After a car accident, I was sent back to my high school days. As soon as I returned, I saw my elder brother leading a group of wealthy young men bullying Gu Jin. My elder brother threw Gu Jin's textbooks into the lake, grabbed his collar, and laughed arrogantly. "Come on, make a dog's bark and let us hear it." Who would have thought that this penniless young man in front of us would later become a business tycoon, drive my family into bankruptcy, and force me to be his canary, having a second chance at life? I must stop my elder brother from courting disaster and, at the same time, try my best to please the vengeful Mr. Gu. 01. I was reborn, and when I woke up, I saw my elder brother bullying Gu Jin. My elder brother, Zhang Baichen, is a young master from a wealthy family. He bullies others by relying on his family's power and is really not a good person. Zhang Baichen threw Gu Jin's textbooks into the lake, grabbed his collar, and asked him to bark like a dog. The surrounding classmates let out harsh laughter, while Gu Jin endured it without saying a word, until Zhang Baichen sneered evilly. "Gu Jin, I heard that your mother is a foolish woman who picks up trash. I don't know which man bullied her and made her give birth to you. You're a dirty and disgusting bastard. Just being around you makes me feel cheap." Suddenly, Gu Jin was like a rabid wild dog, his eyes bloodshot, and he punched my elder brother in the face. My elder brother had practiced fighting hard and had never lost a fight before, yet, he was caught off guard by Gu Jin's punch. Gu Jin fought without any rules, relying solely on his ferocity. When he went crazy, he didn't care about his own life. This scared my elder brother's lackeys so much that they didn't dare to step forward. Soon, my elder brother was at a disadvantage. I had just been reborn and was still digesting the scene in front of me, like someone waking up from a dream. I rushed forward and hugged Gu Jin's arm. "Stop fighting." In my memory, Gu Jin often worked out, and his arms were stronger than those of an ordinary teenager. Every time the man came to the villa to see me, I couldn't get any sleep. Even crying and begging for mercy didn't help. It would only make him angrier. Those memories were deeply ingrained in my bones. When our eyes met, I instinctively feared him. Gu Jin's body visibly stiffened. The ferocity on his face hadn't faded away. But he finally stopped. His gaze shifted to my arm, and his black eyes trembled slightly. There were several scars across my white arm, which were whipped by my father with a belt. Why was I beaten? I remembered. It was because Gu Jin got the first place in the exam, and I dropped to the second place. My father punished me for that. My father, Zhang Jianming, advocated elite education and had very strict requirements for my elder brother and me. He didn't allow me to lose to a poor boy. My elder brother thus hated Gu Jin and took the lead in bullying him. In my previous life, although I had dissuaded my elder brother from doing this, I was also somewhat resentful and unwilling. In the end, I didn't intervene in this matter. So when Gu Jin took his revenge later, I was also punished and became a little thing for him to relieve his desires. I pulled down my sleeve to cover the scars. Gu Jin silently jumped into the water to fish out the textbooks. On the other side, a group of people were fawning over Zhang Baichen. Zhang Baichen covered his nose that was bleeding nonstop, burning with anger. He wanted to fight again. I stopped him, feeling both distressed and angry. "Brother, stop here." "I can't stop. I will definitely find a chance to teach him a good lesson next time." Zhang Baichen spat out a mouthful of blood foam and walked towards the infirmary surrounded by his followers. I was about to follow him to the infirmary. When I looked back, I saw Gu Jin climbing onto the shore. There were injuries on his face, and the textbooks in his hand were already soaked and damaged. He clenched his fists. The blue veins on his arms were clearly visible, and water was dripping from his body. Well, he was a proper beautiful young man with battle injuries. Why should I accompany this annoying brother? The most important thing now is to quench the little spark of hatred in Gu Jin's heart. 02. I sneaked behind Gu Jin to confirm his home address, and then I ran to the pharmacy to buy medicine for treating wounds and band-aids. I knocked on his door tremblingly. It was an aunt who opened the door. When the aunt saw me, she smiled and pulled me into the house. "Come and have some dumplings." Gu Jin's home was an old, shabby, and small house. The furnishings were simple, but it was very tidy. Gu Jin heard the commotion and came out of the bathroom. He was only wearing a pair of jeans and no shirt. The young man had a tall and slender figure. Due to working all year round, there was a layer of beautiful muscles on his body. He was thin but not weak. "What are you doing here?" "This is for you." I pointed at his face. "You need to deal with the wound." "No need, you're not welcome here." Gu Jin grabbed the back of my collar and lifted me out. The aunt grabbed my arm and said stubbornly, "Have some dumplings." My arm hurt from being grabbed by the aunt. Gu Jin immediately let go of me, looking a bit irritated. "My mother, if you don't mind, stay for dinner." otherwise, she'll make a fuss for a long time. I happily agreed, and the aunt went to the kitchen to serve the dumplings. Gujin put on his clothes, and the three of us sat together for the meal. Many of the dumplings in the bowl were broken during cooking, the chives, eggs, and flour were mixed together. They didn't look good and were a bit salty. I had lived a life of luxury since I was a child. Even when my family went bankrupt later and I was forced to be with Gujin, he had never treated me badly in terms of material things. Such unpalatable dumplings were really hard for me to swallow. However, Gujin ate them with great relish. The aunt stroked his head. Her innocent face was full of kindness. Happy birthday, Xiaojin, grow up well and be obedient. The coldness in Gujin's eyes dissipated. Looking at his mother, his eyes were very gentle. I looked at him and couldn't help but smile. If you can't get used to it, give it to me. You don't have to force yourself. My mother's mind is a bit confused, and she doesn't cook very well. I can eat it. I ate a small half bowl. I really couldn't eat any more, so I quietly pushed the bowl over. He accepted it all and finished it in 2 or 3 bites. Gujin seemed quite easy to get along with at this moment. Taking the opportunity, I said, my elder brother was too excessive today. I apologize to you on his behalf. Gujin's face immediately turned cold. He is him, and you are you. It has nothing to do with you. So, Gujin is a person who clearly distinguishes between grudges and kindness. He won't take his anger out on me because of my elder brother. Then, later. What exactly did my elder brother do that was so excessive that it made Gujin hate the Zhang family so much? It made Gujin lie low for many years. It wasn't enough to drive my family bankrupt. He also made my father and elder brother get involved in lawsuits, burdened with heavy debts, and with nowhere to make a living. And I was also forcefully possessed by him. Every time I interacted with him, I could feel his overwhelming hatred for the Zhang family. 03. The next day, I got up very early and put the new textbooks in Gujin's desk compartment. When I turned around, I bumped into a hard chest. Due to the height difference, I only reached his chest. I was startled and leaned backward. The young man put his arm around my waist. You got the first place in the exam and still come so early. You're really competitive. I pushed him away in a panic. I'll go and do some practice questions right away. I definitely won't lose to you next time. Gujin grabbed the back of my collar and glanced at the textbooks. Thank you. Okay, you're welcome. I left quickly with an awkward gait, touching my hot cheeks. Why was I blushing? He's just a young lad who hasn't grown up yet. I lay on the desk. It wasn't because of shyness that I blushed. I had a fever. Zhang Baichen is going to mess with Gujin again. He tricked Gujin's foolish mother into coming to the school to collect the garbage. What does Gujin's foolish mother look like? Let's go and take a look. I ran out. There were a lot of people gathered beside the school store. Zhang Baichen threw a soda bottle at the aunt's feet. Trash picker. Pick it up. The aunt hunched over with a look of fear on her face. She was very scared and made a whimpering sound. When I arrived, I smelled the stench of urine. Ha ha ha. Brother Chen, you scared her so much that she peed her pants. What bad luck. Zhang Baichen threw another soda bottle at the aunt's feet, and the glass shattered everywhere. Brother, stop. I rushed to the aunt's side. She was still leaking urine. A group of people surrounded us, watching the scene. I took off my coat, tied it around her waist, and took her hand. Auntie, don't be afraid, I'll take you. Bang, Gujin rushed out and kicked Zhang Baichen in the lower back. Zhang Baichen fell onto the broken glass. Gujin's kick was so powerful that Zhang Baichen couldn't stand up for a while. He wasn't a cowardly person. He had endured before just for the sake of studying. On the contrary, Gujin's character was actually a bit crazy. I remembered once when I went to a cocktail party with him, someone made improper remarks about me. He flew into a rage and broke the person's ribs. At this moment, Gujin's eyes were bloodshot, and there was a fierce aura of a desperate man about him. He picked up the broken bottle and walked towards Zhang Baichen. Zhang Baichen was scared. What are you going to do? What are you all standing there for? He's crazy. Hurry up and stop him for me. No one dared to stop a crazy man who didn't care about his own life. Actually, I was also afraid of him, but I had to stop him. I rushed forward and hugged his waist tightly, burying my face in his chest with my eyes closed. Gujin, don't. The muscles on his body were tense, and his breathing was heavy. I started crying. Don't do anything stupid. Take your mother home quickly. I stroked his back, trying to soothe his rampaging soul. Pat, Gujin finally threw away the glass, and blood dripped from his palm. I watched as he supported his mother and walked away until I couldn't see them anymore. In my previous life, this incident didn't happen today, brother. Jean Baichen pushed me away, his eyes sinister. He's finished. My heart skipped a beat, clearly. I had stopped my elder brother from courting disaster twice. Why did I have an ominous premonition that our fate hadn't changed and was still sliding towards the predetermined ending? 04. I knocked on Gu Jin's door. He was wearing rubber gloves and washing my coat. The aunt was asleep in the room. I grabbed his wrist and took off the gloves. His hand was simply wrapped with gauze, and it was still bleeding. Are you a masochist? Your hand is like this, and you're still washing clothes. I felt dizzy for a moment and fell into his arms, losing consciousness. When I woke up, it was already getting dark. The lights weren't on in the hospital room. Gu Jin was sitting by the bedside, and his rough palm touched my forehead. My head was burning, and I was so dizzy that I thought I was before my rebirth. Gu Jin hated the Zhang family and only regarded me as a plaything, humiliating my father and elder brother by keeping me as his captive. However, every time I was sick, Gu Jin would be particularly gentle with me. He would patiently feed me medicine and food, like a male nanny. Patients are always delicate, so I took the initiative to hug his neck and acted coquettishly. I feel so uncomfortable. Hug me. After a long while, his voice was hoarse. Zhang Yihuan, I'm Gu Jin. Then, I woke up completely. I let go of him, feeling so embarrassed that my toes curled up. I actually mistook the young Gu Jin for Mr. Gu. Gu Jin turned on the light. Thinking about how I had just acted coquettishly in a very soft voice towards a young man I wasn't very familiar with, I really didn't know where to put my face. Gu Jin had no expression on his face, but his ears were so red that they seemed to be bleeding. In my previous life, no matter how intense our arguments were, he rarely showed any expression. The sign to tell whether he was happy or not was whether his ears were red enough. I covered my face. What are you thinking about? Don't think nonsense. Okay, I won't. 05. After my fever subsided, I rested at home for half a day and didn't go to school until the afternoon. As soon as I entered the classroom, my deskmate, Zhao Xiaoxing, gossiped with me that Gu Jin you hate so much was caught stealing the class funds. There were two rumors in her words. First, I don't hate him, I want to please him. Second, Gu Jin wouldn't steal money. I remembered that in my previous life, there was indeed this incident of Gu Jin stealing the class funds. At that time, I went to the teacher's office to hand in my homework. His homeroom teacher slapped the table. Gu Jin, you've really disappointed me. I know your family is poor, but you can't steal money. You have talent but no virtue. You'll be a scourge in society even if you have abilities. The girl beside them, who should be the class life committee member, chimed in. That's right, if you don't have money, you can tell us. We can donate money to help you. You really didn't have to steal. Gu Jin stood straight, his thin lips tightly pursed, with a look of contempt and indifference on his face. I despised him in my heart. What was the use of getting better grades than me? Without good character, he was nothing. Suddenly, Gu Jin saw me, and his face changed drastically. He strode up to me. It's not like this. I didn't steal. I didn't want to pay attention to him and turned around to leave. Gu Jin went crazy and grabbed my arm with great strength. The injury on my arm hadn't healed yet, and I struggled. Whether you stole or not has nothing to do with me. Let me go. The teacher came over to pull him away, but he held on tighter and tighter and just wouldn't let go. Gu Jin fell into a state of paranoia. He stared at me intently, his eyes red. Zhang Yihuan, what on earth do I have to do for you to believe me? I really didn't steal the money. I didn't understand. Why was Gu Jin so persistent in wanting me to believe him? I didn't even really know him. I was almost scared to tears and said timidly, I believe you. Let go quickly. It hurts so much where you're holding me. Finally, he let go. In my previous life, the disciplinary action result was that Gu Jin received a warning for the demerit. 06. Remembering Gu Jin's almost desperate look at that time, my heart ached. I immediately went to find Gu Jin and met my annoying brother in the corridor. Zhang Baichen had his arm around a girl, who was the class life committee member of Gu Jin's class. Huan, this is your new sister-in-law. After Zhang Baichen left, I smiled at the girl. Tell me quickly, how did you help my brother mess with Gu Jin? The girl wanted to curry favor with me and said proudly, I put the class funds in his desk compartment, and then I pretended that the class funds were missing. We searched the desk compartments one by one, and we caught him red-handed. Sure enough, Gu Jin was framed by my elder brother. I took out my phone and waved it in front of the girl. I just recorded it. You have 10 minutes to confess to the teacher, otherwise, I'll play this recording on a loop at the school radio station. Your elder brother told me to do this. Why are you helping an outsider? I imitated Mr. Gu's expression and said coldly, you still have 9 minutes and 40 seconds. The girl looked panicked and ran towards the teacher's office. Actually, I didn't record it just now. I was bluffing her. During the second class break, the news spread. The class life committee member of Gu Jin's class went to the teacher and said that the class funds had been found. The money in Gu Jin's desk compartment was his own, and they had misunderstood him before. Zhang Baichen called me to the rooftop. Zhang Yihuan, are you crazy? If he hadn't taken your first place, would you have been beaten by Dad? I was avenging you. But why are you siding with an outsider? I let out a sigh and said, it's my dad's psychological problem that he hit me. What does it have to do with Gu Jin? You're the mastermind behind framing him for stealing money. By handling it this way, I'm already showing partiality to protect you. Zhang Baichen, don't bully a young man just because he's poor. If you bully him now, he will take revenge on us in the future. Zhang Baichen looked unconvincing and said, just him. As things stand now, Zhang Baichen's intention to torment Gu Jin is no longer to avenge me. Violence is like a drug addiction. Once it starts, there will be no bottom line. Give me your phone. Zhang Baichen took my phone, threw it against the wall, and stomped on it twice with force. Don't interfere next time I deal with him. In my previous life, I went abroad to study before finishing my senior year of high school, so I don't know how Zhang Baichen plotted against Gu Jin later. 07. The wall of the rooftop was curved, blocking the view. After Zhang Baichen left, Gu Jin came out from the other side of the rooftop. I was stunned. Had he heard everything just now? Gu Jin rolled up my sleeves. The higher he rolled, the denser the scars became. My skin was very fair, making the scars look even more ferocious. Besides your arm, where else do you have injuries on your body? He only hit my arm. I want to dance, and my dad was afraid that others would see the injuries. I looked into Gu Jin's eyes. His eyes were red, and there were tears in them. Mr. Gu, aren't you going to cry? Then, Gu Jin pressed my head against his chest and hugged me. Does your dad often hit you? I evaded his question and said brightly, I'm not the same person I used to be. If he hits me, I will fight back. I'll call the police or tell the elders in our clan, and he definitely won't dare to do it again. When I was young, I didn't dare to resist because I was afraid that my dad would abandon me if I did, but now, my soul is already 28 years old. I'm no longer afraid of patriarchal power and know how to fight back. There's a third option. The young man's tears dripped onto my neck, which was enough to shock me for a long time. Tell me, and I'll beat him up. Hitting people is against the law, then let it be against the law. I smiled and stroked his back, touched by the young man's enthusiasm. 08. Gu Jin picked up the broken phone. I'll fix it for you. Can you fix it even though it's broken like this? Yeah. After school, Gu Jin and I went home together. He took out a toolbox and fixed my phone for me. He had all the necessary parts. He soldered the circuit board and even replaced the display screen with a new one for me. You're so amazing. It's not difficult. I learned phone repair to earn money. Besides going to school, Gu Jin also had to earn money to support his family. Then how much should I pay you, Master Gu? I won't charge you. Then I invite you to watch me dance. I'm going to participate in a dance competition next Saturday. Will you come? Yes. 09. The dance competition was held in the Opera House. To my surprise, I saw Qin Zishu in the first row of the audience. In my previous life, we met when our two families had a dinner together. In this life, the time of our first encounter was advanced, and the scene was also different. Memories of my previous life came flooding back. Qin Zishu at the age of 18 loved me very much and followed me to study abroad. He courted me very romantically for a year, and we got together naturally. However, the good times didn't last long. In the third year of our relationship, he cheated on me. After I exposed him, he said, I just can't manage to love only you. It's not that I don't love you anymore. You will always be Mrs. Qin. What are you still fussing about? I broke up with him decisively, feeling that I had wasted 3 years of my youth. When I saw Qin Zishu at the age of 18 again, I felt physically uncomfortable, and my hands and feet turned cold. Gu Jin supported me. He followed my gaze but didn't ask anything. Instead, he helped me to the backstage. Gu Jin poured me a cup of hot water. Do you feel better? Yeah, I'm already okay. You can go and sit in the audience. I'm about to go on stage. I changed into my dance clothes and walked onto the stage. Gu Jin sat in the back row, hidden in the light and shadow, but I still saw him at a glance. I smiled at him and somehow felt at ease. Dance, I want to win. When the music started, I forgot all the entanglements of my previous and present lives, focused on the world of dance, and showed off my beauty. As soon as the dance ended, there was thunderous applause. The chandelier in the opera house lit up. I looked at Gujin, and we looked at each other from a distance, with my eyes misty with tears. Gujin was stunned and frowned as he looked at me. The audience thought that I was crying because I was so immersed in the dance and moved by the story of the dance music. In fact, I was crying out of joy. This dance was dedicated to Gujin. I wanted him to see how beautiful I was in my teenage years, in my previous life. He never saw me dance even once. He really missed out. I was very excited right after the dance. I heard the obsession buried deep in my heart. Gujin, how can you not love me? I don't want to be your canary. I don't want to be a little thing for you to satisfy your physical needs. I want to be your white moonlight, making you respect and love me, but reluctant to touch me. I also want to be a seductive fairy who bewitches you, possessing all your desires and making you unable to leave me. Never be able to leave me. After being reborn, it's true that I want to stop Zhang Baichen from courting disaster, and it's true that I want to protect Gujin, but I'm like a ghost. I made a wish to the gods to ease the resentment in my heart. What the soul in this teenage body truly wants is to have all of the love of my previous life's lover. 10. I won the first place. Qin Zishu, as the representative of the sponsor, came onto the stage to present the award to me. Yuri Huan, right. Uncle Zhang recently asked my father for investment, and our two families will have more interactions in the future. Qin Zishu took out his phone, looking determined. Is it convenient for you to give me your phone number? Scumbag, go away, go away, go away. It's not convenient. I don't want to get to know you. I saw Gujin walking to the side of the stage, like a little crazy person. I directly jumped off the stage. Gujin's eyes showed panic, but he caught me firmly. I wrapped my arms around his neck. Mr. Gu, was my dance look good? His heart was pounding like a drum, his ears were red as if they were bleeding, and he looked at me without blinking. It was beautiful. My dance dress was a backless one, made of thin fabric, which showed off my figure very well. Gujin took off his black hoodie and put it on me. He pulled the zipper up high, almost choking me. Gujin looked at Qin Zishu on the stage, tilted his head, and his eyes were fierce and wild, just like a little wolf dog. 11. On the way back, I was in an excited state all the time. Ihuan, let me treat you to a meal to celebrate your award. Okay, what do you want to eat? Barbecued meat. Let's bring Auntie with us. The three of us sat in a barbecue restaurant. Gujin was busy grilling the meat and feeding me and his mother. Under the table, my knee was touching his knee. Gujin's ears became redder and redder, and he looked at me thoughtfully. I wrapped a large piece of streaky pork with lettuce. My mouth was stuffed like a little hamster, looking like an innocent and ignorant teenage girl. Auntie ate very gracefully, judging from her eyebrows and eyes. She must have been a beauty when she was young. That's why she gave birth to such a handsome son as Gujin. Auntie, do you remember who I am? Auntie smiled shyly and said seriously, you're Xiaojin's wife. Cough cough cough, get married on the spot. Xiaojin likes you very much, Auntie said and took out a ring to put it on my finger. My Xiaojin is a stubborn child. Once he likes someone, he will never change his heart. You two should live a good life together. I looked at the huge plastic ring on my ring finger. Was this a toy for children to play with? Mom, she's not my wife, she's my classmate, Zhang Yihuan. Gujin looked up at me and coughed dryly. Don't mind, my mom is just speaking without thinking. I took a sip of water tactically. Auntie is very cute. Suddenly, I remembered that Auntie passed away from illness very early, so I reminded him, as people get older, their bodies are more prone to problems. You should take Auntie for regular medical checkups. Gujin took it to heart and nodded in agreement. 12. My annoying brother and I are fraternal twins, and we celebrate our birthdays together every year. Zhang Baichen held a birthday party and invited a group of friends to come and have fun. I wore a beautiful dress and put on a light makeup. When I walked into the private room, I saw Qin Zishu. Zhang Baichen put his arm around Qin Zishu's shoulder. Huan, young Master Qin arranged this birthday party for you. Do you like it? The room was filled with roses, decorated in a dreamy and romantic way. Qin Zishu walked up to me with an exquisite jewelry box. Huan, happy birthday, this is a gift for you. Open it and take a look. If I had known he was coming, I wouldn't have come. It's so annoying. Everyone cheered and clapped, and the atmosphere was warm and ambiguous. I was about to pick up the fruit wine on the table and pour it on him. At this moment, Gu Jin walked in carrying a fruit plate. It turned out that Gu Jin was working here. Zhang Baichen deliberately chose this place to hold the birthday party and continued to test the limits of courting disaster. Yo, isn't this the top student Gu? You're serving dishes here. The wealthy young men around burst into laughter, acting as superior onlookers. How much money can you earn a day by serving dishes? Zhang Baichen took out a stack of 100 yuan bills and threw them at Gu Jin. It's my birthday today. If you serve me well and make me happy, all this money will be yours. My fists clenched, and I laughed out of extreme anger. No, I'm very satisfied with him. He belongs to me tonight. In front of everyone with their jaws dropped in surprise, I grabbed Gu Jin's hand and walked angrily to the lobby. My brother is brainless, don't take it to heart. I patted his shoulder. The young man looked quite handsome in a suit, with his broad shoulders, narrow waist, and long legs. He had a bit of the air of Mr. Gu, the gentle scoundrel. Okay, you can go and get back to work. I'm leaving. Gu Jin grabbed my wrist, tore off his bow tie, and bent down to smile at me. That smile was really beautiful, with a bit of a cute and naughty look. Yihuan, I belong to you tonight. Me, was he serious? I thought Gu Jin would do something fancy, but he took me to buy groceries and then cooked for me at home. Why do you look so disappointed? All the high-quality ingredients on this table cost him 1,000 yuan, even considering the price level 10 years later. Spending 1,000 yuan on a meal is still very luxurious. I picked up the tenderest piece of meat from the East Star grouper and gave it to Auntie. I just think you're selling yourself a bit short. I'm willing to. After the meal, Gu Jin took out a cake and carefully inserted the candles. Auntie was like a child and clapped happily. Happy birthday, daughter-in-law, early. Gu Jin quickly covered Auntie's mouth. Make a wish, have a baby soon. Auntie, you really are something. I closed my eyes and made a wish. He said, Zhang Yihuan, happy 18th birthday. I wished that every year in the future, Gu Jin would accompany Zhang Yihuan to celebrate her birthday. 13. The next day, I heard that there would be a basketball-friendly match between No. 1 Middle School and Jialan High School. Gu Jin participated in it, so I signed up for the cheerleading team. Zhao Xiaxing was in charge of organizing the cheerleading team. The cheerleading uniforms she prepared were miniskirts paired with tight short-sleeved tops. When we got on the coach, all the players were in an uproar. I saw that the seat next to Gu Jin was empty, so I sat beside him. Gu Jin was wearing headphones, leaning his head back against the seat and resting with his eyes closed. His jawline was smooth, his Adam's apple was prominent, and he was wearing a basketball jersey. The muscle lines on his arms were strong, exuding a youthful and sexy charm. I poked the back of his hand. Can you share one of your earphones with me? Gu Jin opened his eyes and looked at me. His gaze lingered on my chest for a moment and then quickly moved away. He took off his earphones and handed them to me. I leaned close to his ear and joked, I'm dressed in a spicy girl style today. Does it look good? Gu Jin closed his eyes and ignored me, but his ears turned red. It was familiar jazz music. His taste hadn't changed over the years. In the lazy singing, memories welled up in my heart. In the villa, the man held me and kissed me passionately. Are you in a good mood today? Gu Jin touched the back of my neck. Not bad. Then, can I ask you for a favor? Go ahead. My brother was tricked by his friend and owes 3 million yuan in usury. My dad was so angry about this that he got sick. Can you help my brother? Gu Jin immediately turned cold. Let go of me. And got up to put on his clothes. Seeing that he was about to leave, I got out of bed barefoot. My brother bullied you, and he was in the wrong. You've already taken your revenge. Can't you spare him a way out? Gu Jin picked me up in his arms and let out a tired sigh. Yihuan, for your sake, I've already spared them a way out. The man kissed away my tears. Don't cry. It's just 3 million yuan. This is the last time. I was very happy and took the initiative once. But when I woke up in the middle of the night, Gu Jin wasn't by my side. I went downstairs in my pajamas. Gu Jin was sitting in the living room drinking. In the huge living room, he looked even more lonely. There was hatred and pain on Gu Jin's face. He clenched the wine glass tightly. The blue veins on his hand were throbbing. With a crisp sound, the wine glass shattered, and his hand was bleeding, but he didn't seem to care. As if he had found an outlet to release his pain, he picked up the broken glass and made a cut on his arm. It turned out that helping my brother made him so painful. I covered my mouth, hid behind the staircase railing, and tears streamed down my face. Do you get carsick? I came back to my senses and met the young man's concerned gaze. My face must have been very pale. Gu Jin unscrewed a bottle of mineral water and handed it to me. If you feel really uncomfortable, you can lean on my shoulder. I leaned on his shoulder, and the knot in my heart quickly dissipated. 14. Jialan High School is a prestigious school, and the facilities of the basketball court are very advanced. The stadium was filled with students. As the host, Jialan High School had a great home court advantage. Qin Zishu was the captain of the Jialan High School basketball team. And he was also the school heartthrob. All the girls in the stadium were shouting his name. Qin Zishu saw me and ran up to me. Huan, you look really beautiful today. Don't call me Huan, I'm not familiar with you. Qin Zishu grabbed my arm. Do you have some misunderstanding about me? Gu Jin pried Qin Zishu's hand away and said coldly, don't touch girls inappropriately. She said she's not familiar with you. Qin Zishu walked away with a face. Before the game started, the cheerleading team went onto the court to perform a cheerleading routine. Who is that girl leading the exercise in No. 1 Middle School? She's so pretty. She's Zhang Huan, the school beauty of No. 1 Middle School. She's so cute. Ah, she looked at me. Baby Huan, brother loves you. After I finished the cheerleading routine and went off the court, Gu Jin and his team came on. When we passed by each other, I said to Gu Jin, come on, okay, Zhao Xiaoxing said excitedly. When you were doing the cheerleading, everyone was fascinated by you. Did you see that? The cheerleaders from Jialan High School were so angry that their noses were almost crooked. I looked at the cheerleading team of Jialan High School. Sure enough, those girls were glaring at me with malicious eyes. I didn't care and focused on watching Gu Jin play basketball. Damn, is Gu Jin this fierce? His playing style is so aggressive. Qin Zishu can't even touch the ball. He has such good physical strength. I just realized today that Gu Jin is so handsome. Listening to others' praises of Gu Jin, I felt proud. He is indeed excellent. When the game ended, we won. Gu Jin became the top scorer of the game. His teammates surrounded him and regarded him as a hero. The young man I love should be this dazzling. I really wanted to rush up, hug him tightly, and kiss him hard. 15. We had finished the water we brought, and Zhao Xiaoxing asked me to go buy water with her. When we reached the grocery store, we were blocked by those girls from the cheerleading team of Jialan High School. Zhang Huan, you seem very proud today. I protected Xiaoxing behind me and said, a good dog doesn't block the way, move aside. They pushed me to the ground, and the leading girl poured milk on my face. Look at your Senior Qin has been seduced by you. You dare to call us dogs. Come on, make a dog's bark and let us hear it. I was stunned and thought of Gu Jin. So this was what it felt like to be bullied, feeling ashamed, angry, and helpless. The girl raised her hand to slap me. A slender hand with well-defined joints grabbed her wrist. Gu Jin's eyes were red, and he restrained himself, shaking off the girl. Scram! The girls were scared away by him. My chest was soaked with milk, and I was a bit exposed. Gu Jin took off his basketball jersey and put it on me. Can you stand up? Yeah. Gu Jin helped me stand up. Gritting his teeth, he cursed. I imitated him and also cursed. Gu Jin was stunned and finally smiled. He went to buy water and a towel and gently wiped my face and hair. Zhao Xiaoxing stood there dumbfounded, looking shocked throughout. Back in the classroom, Zhao Xiaoxing asked 3 consecutive questions. Didn't you hate Gu Jin? When did you two get so close? The way he looks at you, is it what I think it is? I grasped the key point. What's wrong with the way he looks at me? Like melted cheese, me, it's so affectionate. The corners of my mouth turned up, but the way I looked at him wasn't innocent either. 16. When I got home, I saw Qin Zishu and his parents. In my previous life, we just met for the first time today. During the dinner, when it came to the matter of me going to study at Berklee College of Music, Qin Zishu immediately said that he also had a plan to study abroad. In my previous life, I had already experienced studying abroad, and there was no need to do it again, in this life. I want to go to university with Gu Jin. After the Qin family left, I began to persuade Zhang Jianming, Dad, many people in China don't know much about prestigious foreign universities. If we go to study abroad without taking the college entrance examination, others will think we got in with money. It's not as prestigious as getting into Tsinghua University or Peking University. Zhang Jianming cared most about face. He thought for a moment. If you can really get into Tsinghua University or Peking University, then go and study there. After all, Tsinghua University and Peking University are also quite good. However, a rumor spread in the school that the school heartthrob of Jialan High School was chasing the school beauty of No. 1 Middle School, and he wanted to go to study in country M with me. I was too lazy to pay attention to Qin Zishu. Let him go to study abroad by himself. My attention was all on Gujin, 17. During the summer vacation of senior year of high school, Gujin started his first business venture. With the money he had saved from working part-time in the past few years, he established an electronics factory, hired 7 or 8 workers, and took on outsourcing orders for mobile phone refurbishment. This year had the same historical background as the movie Nice View. Smartphones hadn't been popularized yet, and refurbished phones with affordable prices had a good market. Each era has different opportunities. Gujin has a keen business sense. Later, he also caught up with the internet boom and became a business tycoon in just a few years. Gujin received a large order, and after completing it, he could make a profit of 200,000 yuan. He worked overtime with the workers. Even after the workers got off work, he was still working overtime, and his eyes were bloodshot from exhaustion. Gujin, pay attention to taking a rest. Don't wear yourself out, Yihuan. I'm really too poor. I want to make money, a lot of money. You can make money gradually. He looked at me with an enigmatic gaze. No, I can't be any slower. I just felt, presumably, he had endured a lot of hardships along the way. I raised my hand and touched the back of the young man's neck. Gujin, in the future, you will achieve success and fame, and you will get everything you want, so, don't push yourself too hard. Okay, I will. Although Gujin promised me, he still went his own way and worked overtime, staying up late. Finally, Gujin completed the order on schedule. 18. On the day of delivery, Gujin called me. Yihuan, yeah, I will have money, and I will become someone worthy of you. Gujin's voice even had a hint of a sob, yet it was extremely firm. Yihuan, please wait for me a little longer. Okay. Somehow, I suddenly remembered the scene of the last time I went to school in my previous life. After I finished my business, I was walking out. It was raining at that time. Suddenly, Gujin ran out in the rain. Are you leaving? Yeah. I gripped the strap of my school bag tightly, really afraid that he would go crazy again. Then, will you come back? Perhaps because I was about to leave my hometown, I felt a bit more sentimental. And my attitude towards him became a little better. I walked closer to him and held an umbrella for him. Under the same umbrella, I looked up at him. The raindrops dripped down along his chin. The young man's expression was indifferent, but his eyes were so sad. Of course I will come back. How many years? In how many years will you come back? 3 years, 5 years, it's not certain. At this moment, Zhang Chenbai called me. Huan, what are you wasting your breath on with this lunatic? Let's go. I smiled at Gujin and stuffed the umbrella into his hand. Gujin, I wish you success in the college entrance examination. Goodbye. The memory stopped abruptly. A flash of inspiration came to my mind. Perhaps, in my previous life, Gujin had liked me. That's why when he was framed for stealing money, he was so persistent in seeking my trust. That's why when I went to study abroad, he looked so sad. And at that time, influenced by my elder brother, I really hated him. Remembering the recent rumor in school that I was going to study abroad with Qin Zixu, was there also such a rumor in my previous life? So from his perspective, did he think I was going to study abroad with the person I liked? Gujin, so you worked so hard to make money, besides wanting to give Auntie a better life. Was I also a factor? Because my family is rich. You felt inferior and thought you needed to make a lot of money to be worthy of me. There was silence on the other end of the phone. I pressed on. Gujin, answer me. Yes, I smiled with misty eyes. Silly, I'm not going to study abroad with Qin Zixu. I'm not going to study abroad anymore. This time, let's take the college entrance examination and get into Tsinghua University or Peking University together. After saying that, I quickly hung up the phone. My heart was pounding like a drum, and my cheeks were burning hot. Anyway, this counts as my confession first. 19. I went downstairs, planning to have a glass of ice water to calm down. Xiaochen, I heard that there's a young lad named Gujin who took your company's order. I'd like to ask you to cancel the order. Ha ha ha. Okay, we can talk about that project you mentioned last time again. My dad hung up the phone, and my elder brother said proudly, Dad, you really have a way. This time, Dad avenged you. Learn from this in the future. Only barbarians solve problems by fighting. I clenched my fists. I never expected that my dad would help my elder brother deal with a high school student. I quietly went upstairs and called Gujin, but the phone couldn't get through anymore. When I rushed to the factory, Gujin wasn't there. As if that wasn't enough, at this very moment, something happened to Auntie. She fell down and had a cerebral hemorrhage. She urgently needed 100,000 yuan for the surgery, so, in my previous life, my dad and my elder brother messed up Gu Jin's order, making him unable to afford the surgery fee and causing Auntie's death. No wonder, Gu Jin hated the Zhang family so much. No wonder, when I asked him to take out 3 million yuan to help my elder brother pay off the usury, he was in so much pain. Back then, it was my father and elder brother who made him unable to even afford 100,000 yuan and made him watch helplessly as his mother died on the sickbed. This time is different. This time, he has me. I will definitely turn this situation around and change all of this. 20. I rushed to the hospital that the worker mentioned and met Gu Jin at the payment counter. He was calling Boss Chen. Boss Chen, all my goods have passed the inspection. Why did you break the contract? The other party could get greater benefits from my dad, so they must have said some unpleasant words. Gu Jin frowned. At this moment, he was willing to kneel to anyone. How about this? As long as you give me 100,000 yuan, you can take all these goods away. Even with such a concession, Boss Chen still hung up the phone. My mom passed away when I was very young. She left me a sum of inheritance, which I could freely dispose of when I turned 18. I paid the surgery fee for Auntie. Gu Jin watched me pay the fee without saying a word. Outside the operating room, Gu Jin stood there looking extremely tired. Yihuan, thank you. I will pay this money back as soon as possible. I hugged him tightly and stroked his back. Xiao Jin, don't be afraid, Auntie will be okay. Gu Jin froze, and then he hugged me and buried his face in my neck. He kept shaking. He was really afraid that his mother would die. In my previous life, when he faced all this alone, how desperate must he have been. 7 hours later, the surgery was over. The doctor said, the surgery was a success, and the patient is out of danger. The huge stone in my heart finally dropped. In this life, there is no deep-seated hatred between us, and he can finally love me wholeheartedly. 21. After many years, I have become Mrs. Gu. Back then, after Auntie recovered, I told Gu Jin what my father and elder brother had done. Gu Jin, through his own efforts, visited many companies and finally sold that batch of goods. I was completely disappointed in my father and elder brother and chose to live on campus. When the college entrance examination results came out, Gu Jin and I were both admitted to Tsinghua University or Peking University. Gu Jin built his fortune following the path of his previous life and became a business tycoon. We became the most envied couple among our classmates, going from school uniforms to wedding dresses. Zhao Xiaoxing was playing with my twin sons and teasing, Huan, why are you pregnant again? Are you the type who can get pregnant just by being looked at by Mr. Gu? Actually, he was afraid that I would be in pain and didn't want me to have a second child, but I really want a daughter, so I used a little trick. Zhao Xiaoxing gave me a thumbs up. Can you believe it? The soft and cute school beauty Zhang in high school is so bold after marriage. That's right, living 2 lifetimes isn't for nothing. Stay overnight tonight, let's sleep together. Zhao Xiaoxing crossed her hands and refused. No way, last time I slept at your place for 1 night, the way Mr. Gu looked at me clearly showed that he wanted to kill me. I laughed. Mr. Gu is a bit clingy. After my best friend left, my mother-in-law came back riding a tricycle. Over the years, my mother-in-law has always liked picking up trash. Aluminum cans and cardboard boxes are her favorites. I was worried about her, so I hired someone to accompany her when she picked up trash. Today, she had a great harvest and was stepping on aluminum cans in the courtyard of the villa. Our 3-year-old twin sons like stepping on aluminum cans the most. My mother-in-law and the children were having a great time. I wanted to help, but she immediately stopped me and pointed at my belly. There's a baby in there, daughter-in-law. Take a rest. My mother-in-law's mental state is similar to that of a 6 or 7-year-old child, and she can really play well with the children. I sat on the deck chair and watched them having fun. I felt a sense of contentment as if time was passing peacefully. 22. The doorbell rang, and my dad and my elder brother came. Recently, the Zhang Corporation, due to poor management, had its capital chain broken. They came to ask for money. I had already given them all the inheritance my mom left me, but it was still just a drop in the bucket and couldn't fill such a huge gap. When I saw them coming, I immediately asked the nanny to take my mother-in-law and the children inside. Zhang Jianming said dissatisfiedly, I came to see my grandchildren. As soon as I arrived, you asked someone to take the children away. What do you mean? If you just came to see the children, Of course I would let you see them, I've given you all my money, if you came to ask for money, there's not a penny left. Zhang Baichen snorted coldly, Gu Jin is so rich. What's wrong with him helping the company? He doesn't owe you anything. Back then, you messed up his order and made him unable to afford the surgery fee, you almost killed his mother, why should he help you? They had already killed her once. Seeing that I was emotional, my father and elder brother were afraid that I would get too worked up and harm the baby, so they left. Gu Jin's body visibly stiffened, and the ferocity on his face hadn't faded away, but he finally stopped. Just, Yihuan, why are you crying? Gu Jin came back. He squatted in front of me and wiped my tears. Is the baby making you uncomfortable? I pouted and hugged his neck. No, it's just, I suddenly missed you so much. Gu Jin sighed and said seriously, then I'll take paternity leave, I don't want to go to work for even a single day anymore. I burst into laughter through my tears. Gu Jin is so smart that nothing can be hidden from him. At night, my elder brother sent me a message. Huan, Gu Jin said he will help us this time. And it will also be the last time he helps us. Huan, brother knows he was wrong, it was my fault back then. Others all say that Gu Jin has a stubborn character and an even harder heart, but as soon as I cry, he softens his heart. Gu Jin brought me a glass of warm milk from downstairs and watched me drink it with a loving expression. He really is like a male nanny. Husband, when did you start liking me? At the opening ceremony of Senior 1. When you gave a speech as a freshman representative on the stage. Wife, I fell in love with you at first sight. It turns out that in both lifetimes, he has always loved me, only me. Story 2, it was the third year of being forcefully taken and I was reborn back to his teenage years. At this time, Fu Huai was just a poor student being bullied by others. This time, I didn't go to save him. I was so cowardly that I could only secretly watch from the corner. Until that time when he almost lost his life, my mind went blank, and I rushed over regardless, coming to his rescue. The next second, I was forcefully pulled into his arms, and his breath landed by my ear. Darling, why are you still soft-hearted? 01, Ran. The person being beaten seems to be that poor student in our class. My best friend's voice sounded beside me. She took a casual glance and tugged at me. Wanting to leave, let's stay away from them, it looks scary. The alley was filled with curses. Fu Huai curled up on the ground, his body covered in blue-purple bruises, just silently enduring the beating and scolding. You don't hand over the money honestly and even want to resist. Are you dumb? Why don't you speak? You must be taught a lesson today. I suddenly came to my senses, realizing that I had been reborn. Clearly, last night Fu Huai was still forcefully pinching my neck, gently smiling and leaving a passionate kiss on my lips. And I could only tilt my head and endure it. When I opened my eyes again, I was reborn back 8 years ago. Perhaps I was in a daze for too long. The people in the alley seemed to notice us and were about to turn their heads to look over. I was startled and did something completely different from my previous life. Ignoring my best friend's confusion, I suddenly pulled her up and hid in the corner behind the wall. In my previous life, I was a heroic and righteous person who saved him. But I didn't expect that I was provoking a mad dog, reborn back to his teenage years. At this time, Fu Huai was just a poor student being bullied by others, but when I thought of Fu Huai's cruel and unpredictable appearance in the future, and how he forcefully took me through an arranged marriage, I definitely didn't dare to provoke him again in this life, so I was so cowardly that I could only secretly watch him from the corner. And my eyes involuntarily fell on that embarrassed and pitiful figure. My best friend observed me for a long time and squinted her eyes, asking, "Oh, I know, Ning Ran. Do you want to save him?" I quickly retorted, Who wants to save him? I dodged her gaze, not daring to look at her. I won't save him. My best friend sized me up and down. You're acting strange. I pretended not to care, withdrew my gaze, and casually found an excuse to change the topic. Let's go quickly, or we'll be late for class. But I didn't notice that after I left, the person who fell on the ground suddenly raised his eyes. It was like a slippery and cold snake sliding inch by inch, landing on my departing back. 02. When I arrived at the classroom, I found that everyone was laughing and passing around something. A boy sneered and raised the envelope in his hand. Sister Ran, you're finally here. Guess what this is? I frowned and looked at the envelope, and my body suddenly froze. At the same time, he had already said it out loud. Ha ha ha, it's a love letter written to you by that poor student in our class. What a low-class person to dare to like Sister Ran. It makes me laugh. He's like a toad wanting to eat swan meat. In a flash, I suddenly remembered, in my previous life. It was also at this time that Fu Huai's love letter to me was discovered. Everyone was laughing at him, almost belittling him to the dust, and I had long been behavior of theirs, coupled with various previous incidents. I felt that Fu Huai was very pitiful. On a whim, I accepted this love letter. The whole class never expected that I would agree to Fu Huai's confession. They dared to mock Fu Huai unscrupulously, but they didn't dare to provoke me, because my family was rich, so in my previous life, with me protecting Fu Huai, gradually no one dared to bully him anymore. However, at this moment, looking at this love letter, I just felt sweating all over. Fu Huai was still being beaten in the alley, so he couldn't come back for a while. While he was away, I had to solve this matter quickly. I immediately took a step forward, wanting to snatch the love letter. The boy raised his hand high, not giving it to me. Sister Ran, don't you want to hear what he wrote to you? I directly turned cold-faced. Give it to me. Don't make me say it a second time. He pouted and honestly handed the love letter to me. Holding this familiar love letter again, I just felt it was burning my hands. During the 3 years of marriage with Fu Huai in my previous life, countless nights, he repeatedly pestered me, forcing me to read out the shameful words in the love letter. In this new life, I must not leave such a big hidden danger. I must destroy this love letter. As long as these people in the class don't take the initiative to say it, even if Fu Huai finds out that the love letter is missing, he can't suspect me. So I sent away the onlooking crowd. I walked to the trash can at the back of the classroom and quickly tore the love letter to pieces. After destroying the evidence, I finally let out a sigh of relief. My brows relaxed, and I stood up briskly. Turning my head, I saw Fu Huai, covered in injuries, standing quietly at the door of the classroom. I didn't know how long he had been watching me. 03. Now I'm really in trouble. Well, now in this life, Fu Huai will definitely not fall in love with me again, but he might hate me. What would be the consequence of being hated by the future big boss? I didn't dare to think, yet there was someone who was so insensitive to say, "Hey, that poor student, did you see? Our sister Ran doesn't like you at all." That's right. What are you trying to do by writing a love letter? Disgusting. Before, our sister Ran was good to you, but you can't bite the hand that feeds you, right? Don't like. Disgusting. Bite the hand that feeds you. These words clearly reached Fu Huai's ears. He finally raised his dark eyes and looked at me. I just felt my eyes go dark. In this life, I just wanted to keep an ordinary classmate-like distance from Fu Huai, but definitely not to draw hatred in front of him. After thinking for a long time, I decided to strike first. I tried to look as upright as possible and said to him, "Classmate Fu, I don't like you." Fu Huai stared at me without blinking. I was so scared by him that I stuttered for a moment, then forced myself to continue. It was really wrong of me to tear up the love letter, but I hope you can focus on your studies in the future. There's no possibility between us. In my previous life, I was wrong in giving him too much hope and being too good to him, so that he fell in love with me. So in this life, while we still don't have much interaction, I have to strangle hope in the cradle. After saying that, I nervously waited for his answer, being humiliated in public and catching me tearing up his love letter. Fu Huai, such a proud person, must hate me to death. After a long time, he finally spoke. This future head of the Fu family lowered his eyes in inferiority, and a bitter smile curled at the corner of his mouth. Okay, I'm of humble status and not worthy of Ran Ran. He slightly lowered his head and inadvertently exposed the scars on his side face and neck. It's reasonable for you to hate me. Me. 04. Is this still the unpredictable Fu Huai from my previous life? His attitude towards me before was not like this. I tried to keep a straight face and said seriously, "As long as you understand." He softly hummed. "I'm sorry for bothering you." Me. But then again, am I being a bit too harsh? I stood there, slowly lost in thought, tearing up the love letter. Seems, indeed, a bit excessive. Before I could figure it out, a clear and angry voice came. "Ning Ran, you're really going too far." A girl couldn't stand it anymore and finally couldn't help but stand up for Fu Huai. "How can you bully people like this? He just fell in love with you. Do you really have to tear up the love letter?" The girl, being very friendly, went up to pull his sleeve, with a bright smile on her face, just like I was in my previous life. She unreservedly offered a helping hand to Fu Huai. "Fu Huai, don't be afraid, I'll protect you from now on." 05. After I rejected his love letter, Fu Huai really seemed to stop pestering me, and that girl named Hien started to take the initiative to go to and from school with Fu Huai. she even replaced me and became Fu Huai's new deskmate. She would pester Fu Huai to ask him to explain problems to her. In return, Hienan would bring him cookies she made by herself. The only thing that made me strange was that although I had deliberately distanced myself from him, I still, just like in my previous life, always happened to run into him being bullied. For example, he was made things difficult by the boss when he was working part-time. For example, he was robbed on the way home from school. For example, he was pranked in the classroom. I didn't go to save him. I could only shrink in the corner and watch him struggle alone, being bullied occasionally. When our eyes met, he would just look away and pass by me, covered in scars. The smell of blood on him wafted to my nose, and I found that there were some new injuries on him. In my previous life, I always nagged while helplessly applying medicine to his wounds. This had almost become my habit, so when he passed by me again, I almost blurted out, "Fu Huai, can you bandage your wounds properly?" When he heard me call him, Fu Huai's eyelashes trembled, and there seemed to be a glimmer of light in his eyes. "What's the matter?" I realized I was out of line and stammered, "Nothing, you heard wrong." Another voice interrupted, "Fu Huai, why are you injured again?" Hienan looked worried. "Come on, I'll bandage it for you." Fu Huai returned to his expressionless look. I couldn't quite figure out Fu Huai's thoughts about Hienan. He had always been a loner. How could he get familiar with a stranger so quickly? Until one day, I suddenly realized, even if I didn't come to save him, there would be someone else to save him, no matter who it was. As long as they came to save him, he might love that person as he loved me in his previous life. 06. Recently, news came from the Fu family that they had found the child who had been lost for many years. This day had finally come. My first reaction was to feel relieved. When he was taken back by the Fu family, no one would dare to bully him anymore. However, I didn't expect that something happened even faster than the Fu family's actions. It was the enemies of the Fu family. That day, Hienan was still going home from school with Fu Huai, and I was in the car, witnessing the whole process of Fu Huai being dragged into a car. Hienan's eyes were full of panic, and she shouted anxiously, "Fu Huai, I'll call the police, don't be afraid." This kind of thing never happened in my previous life. I was stunned for a moment. After reacting, I immediately told the driver to secretly follow the car in front. We followed all the way to the outskirts, and Fu Huai was taken into an abandoned warehouse. I had to quietly hide in the bushes, constantly observing this situation over there. But I waited until evening, and still no one came to save him. I had a bad feeling. I called to inquire about the news. Finally, I found out that Hienan didn't call the police at all. She was originally arranged by the enemies of the Fu family to be by Fu Huai's side, and the reason why the Fu family spread the news that they had found the lost child, in fact, it was to divert the attention of their enemies. The real purpose was to protect the youngest son of the Fu family. I suddenly realized, so after all, no one could save Fu Huai. Hearing this news, I was so anxious that I walked around in circles. The only fortunate thing was that in this life, I had reminded my parents in advance, so we avoided the bankruptcy, so my family was still qualified to negotiate with the kidnappers. Fortunately, the other side just wanted money, and my family had plenty of money now. The negotiation lasted until the next morning. I hid in the small forest outside the warehouse for a whole night, until my family called me, telling me that the negotiation was successful and they would release him immediately. I let out a breath, moved my numb legs, and planned to leave quietly. After all, I still had to keep a distance from Fu Huai, but the next second, I saw the kidnapper come out of the warehouse. There was a lot of blood on his hem. My heart was raised again. The string in my mind that had been tensed all night suddenly broke. Fu Huai, what kind of torture had they put him through? My eyes were stung by the blood-red color. I trembled and helped Fu Huai up. "Fu Huai, I'll take you to the hospital." "Hold on a little longer." He slowly opened his eyes and looked at me for a long time. After a while, he withdrew his gaze, and his tone was distant and strange. "No need to trouble you, I can go by myself." I then remembered that in this life, I had deliberately avoided interacting with him, so until now, I was at most an ordinary classmate to him. Maybe I was spoiled by him in my previous life. I even had a ridiculous thought. The way Fu Huai looked at me should be full of love, desire, and possessiveness, instead of like this now, clearly bleeding all over, but still politely and coldly rejecting my help. A bit of grievance suddenly welled up in my heart. I stood up abruptly with red eyes. "Fine, Fu Huai, then go to the hospital by yourself." I didn't care about him anymore and turned to leave. The next second, I was pulled into his arms, and the familiar breath surrounded me. He forcefully held my struggling hands, and his face was buried in my neck. A sigh fell by my ear. Like a compromise and also like joy. Darling, why are you still soft-hearted towards me this time? 07, the familiar tone, the familiar posture. For a moment, I almost thought I had returned to my previous life. My mind went blank for 5 seconds. Finally, I was shocked to realize a fact. Fu Huai was also reborn. How could Fu Huai be reborn too? I was a bit nervous, thinking about what I had done since I was reborn. Well, I tore up his love letter and deliberately distanced myself from him. If this was in my previous life, I might have been forced to stay in bed for 3 days and 3 nights. My mind was working fast, and I quickly came up with a countermeasure. Pretend to be stupid. I must never admit that I was also reborn. As long as I didn't admit it, he couldn't do anything to me. And in this life, my family hadn't gone bankrupt, so he couldn't marry me in the name of an arranged marriage. I forced myself to calm down and pretended not to understand. What, darling? Are you crazy from being beaten? I just happened to pass by and wanted to help you out of classmate-hood friendship. Don't get the wrong idea. Fu Huai didn't speak for a while. He still held my wrist, and his slight breath fell on my neck, making me feel a bit itchy. In the dilapidated warehouse, the atmosphere became quiet. We were in a strange posture, at a standstill. Just when I finally couldn't stand it and was about to lose my temper, I heard his very soft voice, which would be blown away by the wind. Ran, look, I only have you. From beginning to end, no one has come to save me. He was now cruelly exposing his inner self, uncovering his scars, as if just to get a little pity from me. My expression changed. I thought of Hienan, and I thought of Fu Huai's parents. He slightly turned his head, looking desolate. The right amount of light hit his face. Ran, am I really that annoying? When he lowered his eyes, the light in his eyes dimmed. Like a gem losing its color, I had to admit that Fu Huai's face was too deceptive, completely in line with my aesthetic. Otherwise, I wouldn't have pitted him so many times in my previous life. I tried to harden my heart and said dryly, don't call me Ran, we're not that familiar. He seemed to laugh, and didn't continue this topic. Instead, he raised his hand and took the leaf stuck in my hair, and his eyes fell on the wound on my arm. He said naturally, how did you get this wound? Classmate Ning, did you fall in the bushes? I kept a straight face. Yeah, I fell by accident. Then I'll have to trouble classmate Ning to take me to the hospital. I nodded and tried to struggle out of his embrace. Fu Huai looked exhausted, leaning closely on my shoulder, and asked weakly, can I lean on your shoulder for a while? Just for the sake of being classmates. Those kidnappers were really scary. Okay, classmate Fu. I stiffened my body and helped him walk out. I thought for a long time but couldn't figure out why Fu Huai, who was so strong and calm in the previous life, had suddenly become so vulnerable. 08. I didn't really hate Fu Huai. After all, our initial acquaintance was very beautiful. In the previous life, it wasn't until he was recognized by the Fu family that our relationship finally changed. At that time, my family was in a bankruptcy crisis. In desperation, I had to beg Fu Huai. The little pitiful from back then had become the head of the Fu family in the capital. I still remember that night when I knelt on the ground, with tears in my eyes, begging him to save our family for the sake of our past affection. He looked down at me, his expression unfathomable. After a long time, he finally chuckled. Of course, Ran, but there's one condition. He lifted my chin, and his voice was strong and unassailable. You have to marry me. The lights flickered, and there was a thunderclap outside. I looked up at him with a pale face, in disbelief, because at that time, I was already engaged to my childhood sweetheart, Shin Chang, and was about to marry him, but in the end, the wedding was held as scheduled. I wore the wedding dress I had carefully chosen. But I married Fu Huai. Later, I heard that Shin Chang's family had gone bankrupt. It was Fu Huai who did it, and at that time, I was locked in the villa by Fu Huai. After making a big fuss, I still couldn't see Shin Chang. Even though he still provided for me well, I still didn't like being locked up by him and having my actions restricted everywhere. I hated his strength. Hated him for infiltrating every aspect of my life in a very strong way, just like a wild beast marking its territory. When I realized it, my whole body was already filled with Fu Huai's aura. 09. After that day, Fu Huai and I maintained a very delicate classmate relationship, but he still had a lot of hostility towards my childhood sweetheart, Shin Chang, and in this new life, I was surprised to find that my feelings for Shinchang had unconsciously faded. So many times when he invited me to go out, I refused him with various excuses, until that day when he came to invite me to his grandfather's birthday banquet. Shinchang looked pleading. Ran, please don't reject me anymore, okay? In the previous life, I refused Shinchang because I had an appointment with Fu Huai for tutoring. I looked at the class schedule. There was no class that day. After all, we had been childhood sweethearts for many years, so I agreed. At this time, the Shin family hadn't gone bankrupt yet, and the birthday banquet was held grandly. There were many people in the banquet hall. Unconsciously, I had drunk several glasses of wine, until my eyes became dizzy and my body became weaker and weaker. Finally, I realized that there was probably something wrong with the wine. To avoid arousing suspicion, I hid in the corner and unlocked my phone to ask for help. However, before I could make a call, my phone was snatched away. I looked up in panic and saw Shinchang's gentle face. His fingertips slowly stroked my cheek, and the words he said were chilling. Ran. You shouldn't have rejected me so many times. A guess emerged in my mind. I looked at him in surprise and doubt. Did you put the drug in the wine? He sighed. I had no choice. But you've been getting more and more distant from me. Why don't we just make it a done deal tonight, so that you'll always be mine? 10. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself locked in a room. My whole body was a bit weak, and there was a lock on my foot. Unfortunately, Shinchang was too confident. He didn't expect me to wake up so early, and he didn't believe that I could pick the lock and leave. Coincidentally, I really could pick locks. When I was locked up by Fu Huai in the previous life, I had practiced the skill of picking locks proficiently. This place was not suitable to stay any longer. After checking the surrounding situation, I decisively picked the lock and escaped. There were people from the Shin family everywhere at the banquet. My phone was confiscated, and I could only run downstairs desperately. The drug was gradually taking effect, and my body was getting weaker and weaker. The successive events of the night were destroying my sanity, and my steps were as heavy as if they were filled with lead. But at this time, I heard someone shouting behind me, "Catch her quickly, don't let her run away." The childhood sweetheart who was gentle and polite in my memory had now completely changed his face. I couldn't even imagine what would happen if I was really caught by them. Tears blurred my vision, and fear grabbed me like an invisible hand, out of the corner of my eye. It seemed that a familiar figure flashed by. I immediately turned around and ran towards that figure. When I got closer, I finally confirmed that I had bet right. It was Fu Huai. In an instant, all my fear and helplessness found a support, and the tears that had been in my eyes finally fell down in big drops. The alcohol and the drug were destroying my sanity. Under extreme tension, my thoughts were in a mess, and I could only act on instinct. Before my brain could react, my aggrieved voice had already spilled out, "Honey, save me." Just like in the previous life, whenever I got into trouble and felt guilty, I would call him honey, a Huai in a soft, spoken way, and Fu Huai could never refuse. He always took care of everything for me. The next moment, I was hugged and pushed into the room beside me. The room was pitch black, and Fu Huai's familiar aura surrounded me layer by layer. Suddenly smelling this familiar sandalwood fragrance, my body subconsciously went soft. I thought I wouldn't be affected by him anymore, but now I finally had to admit a fact. Even though I was reborn, I was still trapped in those countless nights of intimate entanglement with Fu Huai and hadn't come out yet. I tried my best to wrap my arms around his neck to steady my weak body. He put his arm around my waist, and the scalding temperature of his palm seeped through the thin fabric and burned on my waist. The steady breath of the person in front of me blew over my sensitive neck, and his cold voice became hoarse. "Classmate Ning, who are you calling honey?" 11. Smelling this familiar sandalwood fragrance again, I actually felt an unusual sense of peace. As soon as my spirit relaxed, I could no longer resist the effect of the drug. Moreover, in the previous life, we were very compatible in that aspect. After marriage, my rationality completely disappeared. I was too lazy to think about what the person in front of me was saying. I grabbed his collar and kissed him fiercely. The next day, I woke up, propping up my body that was almost falling apart. All the memories of last night emerged in my mind, and I felt like the sky was falling. Noticing that I woke up, Fu Huai, in a very familiar, couple manner, habitually kissed the corner of my lips. Oh. I had also called him honey in a daze last night. My cover was blown. Now the sky really fell. I reflected on my mistakes and decided to put on my clothes and run away immediately. Fu Huai called me from behind. Ran. I turned around, saw the red marks on his neck, and quickly looked away. He asked me calmly, "Are you leaving?" I took a deep breath, since I couldn't pretend anymore. "I just came clean, Fu Huai. Since both of us are reborn, I'll tell you clearly. My family didn't go bankrupt in this life, and I will never be locked up by you again." 12. I didn't know if Fu Huai was really giving up. I really didn't see him for several days. The next time I heard news about him, Fu Huai had become the heir of the Fu family, even faster than in the previous life, but I didn't care about all this. The most urgent thing was to settle the score with Shin Chong for drugging me. During this period, my family withdrew all cooperation with the Shin family. I found evidence of tax evasion by the Shin family's company and reported it. As soon as the news spread, the shares of the Shin group plummeted. Shin Chong was so busy that he was in a mess. One day, when I was eating in a restaurant, I ran into Shin Chong, who looked haggard. He seemed to be deliberately blocking me. When he saw me, his eyes lit up, and he rushed up to grab my hand. Ran, please save my family, I sneered. Did you think of today when you drugged me before? He looked pleading. I just love you so much. Ran, you rejected me so many times before and ignored me. I had no choice but to do this. Believe me. I took out a stack of documents from my bag and mercilessly exposed him. Love me. But you secretly acquired so many scattered shares of our family in the past 2 years. If you add the shares in my hand, wouldn't you be the largest shareholder of the Ning Group? I think what you love is not me, but these shares in my hand, right? Looking at these documents, he finally panicked. A glint of gloom flashed in Shin Chang's eyes, but he still held my hand, looking sincere. I know I was wrong. Forgive me. Okay, you had a crush on me before. Forgive me this time. Ran. Others, seeing us, probably only saw our hands held intimately, as if a boy was coaxing his angry girlfriend, but I just felt cold-hearted. Shin Chong, you really make me sick. Before I could finish speaking, a silver light flashed. Shin Chong took out a sharp knife and pointed it straight at me, looking crazy. Since that's the case, then let's go to hell together. I never expected that Shin Chong was so crazy that he would attack me in the crowd. It was too late to dodge. I just wanted to raise my hand to block. However, the expected pain didn't come. There was a sound of a knife stabbing into flesh. I looked up in panic and saw Fu Huai tightly holding me in his arms. His lips pursed. There was a pool of blood on his shoulder. He didn't care about the wound on his shoulder. He subdued Shin Chong in a few moves, and the bloody knife fell to the ground. Suddenly encountering this change, the crowd shouted in panic, and the scene became very chaotic for a while. My mind was buzzing. I stared blankly at Fu Huai, and my heart was still beating violently. Before I could say the words of concern, Fu Huai had already red eyes, stared straight at me, with anger in his eyes, and asked word by word, Ning Ran, even though he treated you like this, you still love him? My concern in my heart suddenly stopped, and I slowly said. The blood on his shoulder flowed down his arm to his fingertips, but he didn't care at all. He grabbed my hand like a madman, until my hand was completely stained with his blood and aura. He leaned close to my ear, and his voice was as soft as a lover's whisper. Ran, tell me, which hand did he touch? 13. It was the same in the previous life. Fu Huai never allowed me to mention Shin Chong. Looking at Fu Huai, who was lying on the bed and sleeping, I finally understood. No wonder he refused to let me see Shin Chong at that time. It turned out that he had long known that Shin Chong had motives for me. I sighed and went to check his wound that had been bandaged. The doctor said that he needed to rest quietly for the next 2 days and be carefully watched to prevent inflammation. But at night, Fu Huai had a high fever. He murmured, his hot fingertips tightly grasping my sleeve. Ran, don't abandon me again. I looked at him with a complicated expression, standing by the bed and watching him for a long time. Fu Huai recovered very quickly and was discharged from the hospital in a few days. He had been eerily calm these past 2 days, completely unlike the out-of-control appearance when he was smiling and smearing blood on my hand that day. To prevent him from having a sudden high fever again in the middle of the night, I had been sleeping with him recently, until one day, I woke up again. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw a familiar chain. I subconsciously raised my wrist and looked, and it was empty. Then I met Fu Huai's gaze. He naturally pulled me into his arms, making a clank sound, and around his pale neck, there was a large, blatant pure, black collar. One end of the chain was connected to the collar. He stroked the chain and calmly put it into my hand. Ran, do you like it? I gently tugged on the chain. Fu Huai raised his head, and the collar just tightly wrapped around his fragile Adam's apple. A soft gasp escaped from his throat. He lifted his eyelids and looked at me coldly. You don't like me locking you up, then lock me up, okay, Fu Huai. What do you mean by this? He laughed lowly, and his cool fingertips climbed up my wrist, as if being slowly licked by a snake's tongue, or put one on you here too, and we'll never be separated. His fingertips were clearly cool, but when he gently the inside of my wrist, it was like being ignited by fire, leaving a string of marks. I suddenly withdrew my hand. He noticed my dodge, and the calm on his face finally cracked. The gloom between his eyebrows gradually deepened. What exactly am I lacking compared to that Shin Chong? He stared at me intently, almost gritting his teeth as he asked, why do you love him so much? Before I could speak, he laughed to himself. It doesn't matter, Ran, as long as he's dead, you'll be able to love me, right? You can hate me, take revenge on me, take revenge for as long as you want. Fu Huai forcefully grabbed my hand and handed his chain to me. You can lock me up, or put a tracker on me, and control my everything. As long as I can see you. His eyes were sad, like a corrupt and gorgeous flower. I couldn't help it anymore. I suddenly stood up and glared at him. Fu Huai, are you crazy? I've said I don't like Shin Chong. He said, I don't believe it. Me? I was almost amused. I had explained so many times these past 2 days, but he still didn't believe me. I nodded and looked down at him on the bed. Fine. Then lock yourself up like this. Believe it or not, I don't care. After saying that, I turned around and left, slamming the door loudly. Fu Huai sat quietly on the bed, like a lifeless puppet, staring blankly in the direction I left. After a while, he finally laughed self-deprecatingly. 14. I was so angry that I walked around in the living room outside for 2 rounds, from morning to night. When I finally calmed down, I found that it was already dark. For a whole day, Fu Huai had been staying in the room and didn't come out. When I realized this, my first thought was that Fu Huai hadn't taken his medicine today. I felt like I was also a bit crazy. I wiped my face and looked at myself in the mirror. Finally, I had to admit, I was also trapped. The bedroom was pitch black. Fu Huai was curled up in the corner of the bed. I switched on the light with a pop, and the room was instantly lit up. The strong light stunned Fu Huai's eyes, but he stared at me without blinking. I walked over and looked at him expressionlessly. Get up and take your medicine. He just stared at me intently, as if he was afraid that I would disappear the next second. I stood there impatiently, holding the bowl. I put the bowl aside. I directly reached out and grabbed that chain, and pulled it forward. He was caught off guard, and the collar pulled, forcing him to raise his head. I held the medicine bowl in one hand and the chain in the other, and directly poured the medicine into his mouth, but I didn't control the strength well, and poured it a bit too quickly. The medicine water flowed down from the corner of his mouth, across his pale neck, and disappeared into the collar. Fu Huai just quietly endured it, trying to swallow all the medicine. After feeding a bowl of medicine, I casually put the bowl aside. Then I grabbed the chain and kissed his lips. The bitter taste of the medicine spread on the tip of my tongue. I didn't care and just kissed him deeply. After the kiss I pulled back slightly and looked steadily into his eyes. Fu Huai, I like you. I couldn't quite recall when exactly my feelings had changed. Maybe it was when Shin Chong stabbed the knife towards me, and time again, Fu Huai shielded me with his body. Perhaps it was when he held me close in that abandoned warehouse, calling me darling. Or perhaps it was even earlier. I didn't have the urge to dig deeper. I stared at the stunned him and repeated firmly, Fu Huai, I only like you. I stopped having feelings for Shin Chong a long time ago in the previous life, and now, it's only you, MMPH. Before I could finish my sentence, Fu Huai's hand shot up to grip the back of my neck, and he kissed me urgently. This kiss was fierce and intense, making it hard for me to catch my breath. I tugged at the chain, trying to make him stop. The collar constricted tightly around his neck, causing a faint sense of dizziness from lack of oxygen, but Fu Huai didn't seem to care at all, continuing the kiss without hesitation. When the kiss finally ended, the only sounds in the quiet room were our soft pants. He leaned down, burying his head in the crook of my neck, his arms encircling my waist, completely enclosing me within his embrace. Ran, is what you said true? This was the first time I had ever confessed to someone, and I felt a bit awkward as I nodded. Of course it's true, but I have to make it clear, you're not allowed to lock me up anymore. As long as you're good, I won't leave. Got it? He agreed readily. Okay, I won't lock you up, and you're not allowed to lock yourself up either. This time, he was silent for a long time. I thought about it for a moment and reluctantly made a concession. Fine, you can lock yourself up occasionally. He smiled. his eyes curving like a child who had finally gotten his favorite candy. I was speechless. I really couldn't understand why this person was so eager to be chained up. Fu Huai smiled and placed the chain back into my palm. Then don't unlock it tonight, okay? I was a bit slow to react. What? But he had already leaned in, his eyes tinged with a faint red at the corners. You take the lead, pull it if it hurts, darling. I'll make you satisfied. I didn't know how much time had passed. Just as I was on the verge of exhaustion and about to fall asleep, Fu Huai gently kissed my eyebrows and eyes. Ran, I will always love you. 15. Epilogue. A few years later, the wedding of the head of the Fu family became the talk of the town. The grand ceremony was filled with luxury and splendor. I stood in front of the full-length mirror, wearing a white wedding dress that was exquisitely tailored. With layers of lace and pearls adorning it, the dress flowed gracefully to the floor, making me look like a princess straight out of a fairy tale. Fu Huai walked in from behind me. His suit was perfectly fitted, emphasizing his tall and slender figure. His eyes were filled with love and tenderness as he looked at me. Ran, you're the most beautiful bride in the world, he said, his voice soft and affectionate. I turned around and smiled at him. And you're the most handsome groom. He came closer, took my hand, and placed a gentle kiss on my knuckles. I'd been waiting for this day for so long. The wedding march started playing, and we walked hand in hand down the aisle. The guests were all looking at us with blessings in their eyes. During the vows, Fu Huai held my hands tightly, his eyes never leaving mine. I, Fu Huai, promise to love you, protect you, and cherish you for the rest of my life. No matter what difficulties come our way, I will always be by your side. Tears welled up in my eyes as I replied, I, Ning Ran, promise to be with you, support you, and love you unreservedly. I want to build a future filled with happiness and warmth with you. After we exchanged rings, Fu Huai pulled me into his arms and kissed me passionately. The audience erupted into applause and cheers. That night, in the honeymoon suite, the soft light of the candles flickered. Fu Huai held me in his arms, and we talked about our past lives, the hardships we had endured, and the love that had blossomed between us. Ran. I'm so glad we found each other again in this life, he said, his voice filled with gratitude. Me too. I nestled closer to him. I never thought that our love could be so deep and unwavering. He kissed my forehead. From now on, we'll create more beautiful memories together. As we drifted off to sleep, I felt a sense of peace and contentment wash over me. This was the beginning of our new life together, a life filled with love, trust, and endless possibilities. Over the next few years, our lives were filled with a harmonious blend of joy and tranquility. Fu Huai's career continued to soar. Under his shrewd leadership, the Fu Group expanded its business scope both domestically and internationally, venturing into new industries and achieving remarkable success. Despite his busy schedule, he always made time for our family. We had a beautiful little girl. Her big, bright eyes resembled mine, while her stubborn and determined personality was a carbon copy of her father's. Watching her grow up was a daily source of wonder and happiness for us. She was the most precious gift in our lives, a symbol of our deep love. On weekends, we often went on family outings. Sometimes, we would head to the beach, building sandcastles with our daughter, running along the shore, and enjoying the warmth of the sun and the sound of the waves. Other times, we would visit the countryside, exploring the beautiful scenery, breathing in the fresh air, and introducing our daughter to the wonders of nature. One sunny spring day, we decided to have a picnic in a large park. We spread out a checkered blanket on the soft grass, surrounded by blooming flowers and the sweet chirping of birds. Our daughter was running around, trying to catch a colorful butterfly. Fu Huai and I sat side by side, watching her with affectionate smiles on our faces. Look at her, Ran, she's so full of life, Fu Huai said, taking my hand in his. Yes, she is. She brings so much laughter and joy to our lives, I replied, leaning my head on his shoulder. We sat there in comfortable silence for a while, enjoying the simple pleasure of being together as a family. Then, Fu Huai turned to me, his eyes filled with a mix of love and mischief. Ran, do you remember how we first met? You were so brave, coming to my rescue without hesitation, he said, a nostalgic smile on his lips. Of course I remember. Little did I know that it would lead to such a wonderful life with you, I said, looking into his eyes. He leaned in and kissed me gently. I'm so grateful for that day. If it weren't for you, I don't know what kind of person I would have become. Our daughter ran back to us, holding a small bouquet of wildflowers in her hands. Mommy, "Daddy, look what I picked for you," she said, her face beaming with pride. "They're beautiful, sweetie." "Thank you," I said, taking the flowers from her. She climbed onto Fu Huai's lap. "Daddy, tell me the story of how you and Mommy fell in love again." Fu Huai looked at me, then back at our daughter. "Well, it's a long and wonderful story, my dear. Once upon a time, there was a kind-hearted girl who saved a poor boy. That girl was your mommy, and that boy was me, and from that day on, our fates were intertwined." As he told the story, I listened with a warm feeling in my heart. Looking at my husband and daughter, I realized that I was the luckiest person in the world. Our journey had been filled with twists and turns, but it had led us to this perfect moment, a moment of pure happiness and contentment. The years passed, and our love only grew deeper. We supported each other through every challenge, celebrated every success, and created countless beautiful memories together. Our story was a testament to the power of love, a love that had withstood the test of time and rebirth, and would continue to shine bright for a lifetime.